What's going on, everybody? Today's episode of the podcast is sponsored by my Twitch stream. I'm live on Twitch Monday through Saturday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Come hang out, play some games, drink some G Fuel, and talk about whatever you want. Today's guest is part of a combat camera team in the Army, as well as a content creator that I have been seeing pop up on my For You page a lot lately. He's best known for taking scenes from fan favorite shows and editing them so that when he posts them in these fan groups, they get a bit of a interesting reaction. I really enjoyed our conversation, and I hope you guys do too. Please welcome jankylankyTV.
All right.
So how's life?
It's good, man. It's been good. Been enjoying the last month, just chilling out, streaming, making videos.
Yeah, those TV show TikToks have been cracking me up, man.
Yeah, people sometimes I tried cross posting them to Reddit, and then I realized that Reddit was a little bit too serious for them because they were getting offended. They're like, "You can't mess with people. Like it's there's so much disinformation online." And I was like, "I'm just making a funny video," but yeah.
Yeah, no matter what you do, you're gonna piss people off, or people are gonna complain. Like that's just
Yeah, I've noticed that TikTok seems to find them to be more funny than offensive, but you're always going to make somebody mad eventually. But they are really fun to make, and I think that going forward, that I'm going to be trying to make more of like not. I think people have found the intention of them to kind of be like making fun of people, which definitely wasn't supposed to be the idea, but maybe be more comedic about it, I guess, other than calling people out. But I don't know, we'll see.
yeah. You mean like specifically talking about how like one person reacted or something like that?
Yeah, maybe making it more because like what I thought about doing is because I feel like I need to give people more hints that it's not real. So I was thinking
Yeah,
about making like whenever I create the video, maybe hiding an Easter egg kind of in plain sight that says like a text thing or something that says like this video is not real or something. That way
yeah,
people can at least, have a chance to see that it's not real other than just like because I made one for Brooklyn Nine. That was the one that people were like, holy shit, like you tried really hard on this and it looked amazingly real.
yeah,
And so I spent like an hour and a half creating a fake Brooklyn Nine-Nine trailer with like a like coming in the summer, like a really good like voiceover and then like after effects like text and like using the branding and everything. People were like, it looked really convincing. And so whenever I posted it in like thousands of because it got posted to the official Brooklyn Nine-Nine fan group and it got
yeah.
shared by like thousands of people. Like one of my friends reached out to me that I went to school with in elementary school. He reached out to me over Snapchat and was like, I he saw my TikTok and he was like, "That was you? Like my professor shared that video." And I was like, "Yeah, like I made that video. That the whole thing wasn't real." So
I don't, I
it's
don't think I
crazy.
saw that one yet. Is that the one? Because I came into your stream and you were talking about that, and you said that they
I think
oh, you froze.
oh no, are we gonna reset or are we gonna start back at where we left off at?
We could just keep going where we were. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
so you can explain why your internet keeps dropping. Where are you at right now?
So right now I live in the middle of nowhere, California, out in Fort Irwin National Training Center. Um, I'm currently active duty. I mean, that leads into the whole military thing. I'm currently active duty with the Army for about 2 years now, doing combat camera. So the reason why I'm out here is because we take photos of. And have you ever? I don't know if you've ever been to a rotation on NCC. I don't know if I don't think Coast Guard ever comes out here. There'd be no reason, but
Yeah, we don't. But
yeah. So did you ever hear about it when you were in?
not really. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know.
people also wouldn't
There
know,
would be
so
a
you can
reason for
explain.
yeah. That would be crazy for the Coast Guard to come out here. It's just sand. So,
Hmm.
um, but yeah. So the NTC, we have units that come out. Obviously with the state of the world right now, it's not as popular as it was because moving thousands of people from one state to another and then having them all live close together out in tents and stuff isn't a super sanitary thing to do right now. But
Yeah,
yeah, and so we haven't really been working that much, but typically what happens is every single month we have a rotation of a different unit that comes in, and that our job as combat cameras to go and take photos and show it to the units and show it to their commanders and all that. Uh, it's a really cool job.
yeah. When I came into your stream and then I had rated you, I think, and then
Yeah,
you started. Mentioned that you were in the military, and then I started talking to you about that. I totally was caught off guard. I didn't know you were military.
yeah, you wouldn't think so.
Yeah.
A little bit goofy, so
I mean, people don't think I was in either, so I totally
yeah,
get you. I mean, people think I'm 16, so I get that a lot too.
yeah. I don't see it.
Yeah, I
I
would.
guess because clean shaven.
I guess I don't know. But
They
I
make
did
us look
6
younger.
years. I was stationed at Washington State for like a year and a half. Then I went to North Carolina for aviation technical school, and then I was stationed in San Francisco for 4 years, and we were just deploying out to LA, and then yeah, we were deploying to LA. That was our
Yeah,
deployments because the air station there closed. I guess it was too expensive to pay LAX to use that area. So,
that's
uh,
awesome.
so yeah, they just had us deploying to Point Magoo. I don't know if you know where that is.
No. I live in California, but I got here at such a weird time. I got here. I mean, I got here before the pandemic started, but by the time I settled down and try to go out there and get some time off, everything was closed down. So, like, I'm
Yeah.
from right now. I'm from California, but I've never really explored it.
Where where are you from in California?
So SoCal, kind of near Barstow, uh, Barstow, San Bernardino County,
Okay.
uh, closer to Vegas than I am LA.
Okay. And you said
Yeah,
you're Army, right?
yeah.
Okay, so I guess you wouldn't have heard of Yuma, Arizona. There's like a big Marine Corps air station out there.
Oh yeah. I've actually. It's funny. I drove by there once. I drove by in Yuma. I was going to pick up something that was like 4 hours away for my car, and then I drove through there, and I believe I went through Yuma, and I saw it.
Yeah, that's where I'm from. That
And
dinky little town.
yeah, I remember seeing it. If I'm thinking about it correctly, it's like I remember I stopped at like an intersection, and then I looked forward and I saw like a like big square, and it said Marine Base or something like that. And I was like, oh
Yeah.
shit, there's a Marine Base right there.
Yeah. My real father was a Marine, but then my stepdad was Coast Guard. So I just ended up when I decided I was joining the military, I decided to go Coast Guard because it seemed like really laid back. Um,
Nice.
but public affairs is actually because we were talking about that. That's actually something that I had at one point thought about doing, but it was like a 4 year wait, and I was like, I just don't want to be stuck on a boat as an E3 for that
Yeah.
long.
I mean, everybody. I mean, that's the popular one right now. Like public affairs. I mean,
Yeah,
for the Army, I talked to my recruiter, and they were trying to get me to do everything else. Like they're like, "There's no way you're getting this position. Like, it's not going to happen for you. Just like go shoot at people or go do it." I was like, "I'm not going to do that. Like, I'm not interested in doing that at all." Because
yeah,
my like you said, you have family in the military. I grew up in the military too. I have my stepdad. He's in the Air Force, and he's a TAC P, JTAC. I don't know if Coast Guard has JTACs. I'm not too sure
no,
about
Coast
that.
Guard's completely different. We have
Yeah,
we're more like the Navy with like their
I
ratings and stuff.
so no clue. I mean, I had a Navy instructor when I went to AIT for
Hmm.
photo training. That's the closest I've ever been to Coast Guard, Navy. I mean, it's like a different world for me. So, um, but yeah, my stepdad was a JTAC, and he recommended to me when I was looking into getting in the military. He was like, just don't. I mean, you're a photo and video guy. Don't go and do something totally unrelated to like what you want to do in the future because you've. I mean, I've done photo, video editing, content creation for as long as I can remember. It's always what I've done. And he was like, you got it to like, we looked it up on the Army website. Like, originally I looked into getting in the Air Force, but that was crazy long wait as well. Um, so then we looked up into it and saw combat camera, public affairs, all that. And I was like, oh, this looks like a really cool opportunity. And my recruiter was like, yeah, man, there's no way you're going to get that job. And so I gave myself 3 months is what I told him. I was like, my wife and I, my girlfriend at the time, were talking about the military, and I was getting ready to sign a contract for some like weird anti-air job. Uh, it's like some weird outdated like Vietnam era like you shoot at planes type of thing. And I
Yeah,
told my
people do
stepdad
that
about
still.
that. Yeah, that's what we were talking about. He was like, if who are we fighting that has planes? And I was like, you know what? I never thought about that. I don't know. They don't really have planes. And they're like, yeah, you're probably not gonna do anything other than sit there. And
Yeah.
so they wanted me to sign up for that job because I had a bonus and everything, and it only had like a 3 year or 4 year contract, something like that. And so I was like, okay, whatever. So I was like, I'm gonna give myself 3 months, and the recruiters are like, listen, dude, there's no way you're gonna get the job. And then like 3 days later, the job I have now popped up on the list, and they're like, oh, okay, well here you go. And I was like,
Uh,
the universe handed it to me, and I took it, and now here I am.
so do you like take video of the training and stuff like the?
Yeah.
doing most of that stuff?
So we do we're mainly a photo unit. So the way it works
Okay.
here is we have like different critter teams for different jobs. Like we have dragon team who do like live fire stuff, and then we have like other teams that are assigned to deal with like mortars and artillery and indirect fire and all that, and they all kind of do their own thing. But we're vulture team, and it's kind of a funny name because it's like, you know, we kind of come up and pick up the scraps is essentially what people say.
Yeah.
The vultures come around after everything's done. We take photos of what happened and all that. Um, and then we take the photos, we edit them, we send out to public affairs, and public affairs sends them out, and then out to like the NTC Facebook pages and all that. And it's like I said, mainly a photo unit, but I've been pushing for more video recently because I feel like we like seriously lack there, and most people. It's kind of weird with the combat camera lifestyle. Most people, because we get trained in both photo and video, but this MOS is very, very heavily like shifted to a photo because most people,
Yeah.
with the amount of skills you have to learn to be good at video, with setting up the camera, doing motion graphics, doing video editing, like it's just way easier for most people to pick up the camera, put it on auto, and then take a picture. So like most soldiers in 25 Victor combat camera, they just kind of do photo. But I've been trying to get more video in, and we're seeing how that goes. But kind of a shift.
Are you kind of like one of the main people trying to do the video stuff? Like you're pushing for that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
nobody else has the kind of experience because before I did the army thing, like I mainly joined the army just because I wanted the experience mainly. Like I grew up in the military, and I've been for my whole life. My stepdad's still in. Like I live with my mom and my stepdad my whole life, and he is still in and getting ready to retire. I think, and he's got 2 or 3 more years left, and then he's getting out finally.
Okay.
I mean, and I have so many fond memories of the military, probably because I grew up in the Air Force, which is a lot different of an environment than the Army, but a
Yeah.
culture shock because it's just like so much more like just crazy than the Air Force is. The Air Force kind of treats you luxuriously. I
Yeah,
remember
that's the joke.
kind of a weird story, but when my grandma, like my great grandma, passed away, somebody from the Air Force came by, and I don't know if this is a thing they do regularly, but um, he came by and brought me Popeyes. Like I don't really know why. He just was like came to the door with a family thing of Popeyes, and then just like I'm sorry for your loss, and handed it over. And I'm pretty sure if that in the army, if my great grandma passed away, I'd probably have like someone come over to my house and slap me in the face because like I don't think we get treated the same way. It's just
Yeah.
like what's going on here.
I've been to all kinds of bases because the Coast Guard, they only have so many. So if we ever need
Yeah,
anything when we're deployed or something like that, we either go to a Navy base or an Air Force base. And the difference between a Navy base and Air Force base is night and day. The Air Force, they got
yeah.
like Pizza Hut, Domino. They got 2 pizza places on one base. Like I'm just
Like a
like, this is ridiculous.
Chili's.
Yeah, they got
Like
like a
Air
mini
Force bases
mall.
have a whole Chili's. Yeah, it's crazy. Like where I'm at, Fort Irwin, out in the middle of nowhere, you would think they would like put a lot of money into like having like a luxurious like kind of
Yeah.
area. I this is the smallest PX I've ever seen in my life. Like it's crazy. It was shocking how small it was, and like the amenities on this base, we have like 6 places to eat, and the closest
Yeah,
town is Barstow, which is like 45 minutes away. And so if you want to go to Walmart, it's a 45-minute drive.
that's
McDonald's,
rough.
45-minute drive. Uber Eats is non-existent. There's no you got to go grab everything. Like I said, there's like 6 places to eat, and they close at like 6. So
Yeah,
it's
that sucks.
crazy.
Yeah, no, I was talking about when I was doing deployments to Point Magoo. It's literally a maybe you heard of Port Wainimi. Have you heard of that one?
No,
No.
man.
Okay, so
No.
so there's Port Wainimi, which is this big ass Navy base where they have like a shipping yard and all this other stuff over there, and then a little ways down the road, I s- it's like 5 or 10 miles or something like that. Down that main road, there's an air station, and they do like all the training and stuff for like I see a bunch of test pilots, doing where they chase like the fake drones and stuff like that. There was a lot of drone stuff going on there. but it was all this like secret squirrel stuff. They had
Yeah.
some stuff set out by the beach where it was like kill houses and stuff like that. They would go do kind of like mock-ups and stuff there, and nothing there. It's literally built on a swamp.
That's cool. Like I really wish that I was able to do more stuff like that because I went to school with some people that were like I had a Navy instructor for we took two courses, BSP, which is basic still photography, and then VPD, which is video production documentation. And everybody in the Navy had the like public affairs guys, they had the coolest photos. Like people roping down from helicopters, swimming through the
Yeah,
water, like rescuing people, going through like swampy terrain like that with weapons and stuff. And it was just like those were the coolest photos. And out here, I mean, it's just the environment is cool because you can see people shoot tanks and I've ridden a helicopter a few times and taken photos from above stuff to get photos of objectives and people moving and all that. But it's like the Navy and Coast Guard, they easily have the best photos in the entire service because the environments there is just they're just so unique and just they're unparalleled to everything else you'll experience.
yeah. The Coast Guard, the public affairs, their rating, they only have like 100 and something people total,
Yeah.
so that's why the wait list is so long. I know people who legit just deployed to Bahrain just so they could get ahead on the list. So they went and
Yeah.
went overseas for a year just to do that. And
The public affairs and like you think about how big the army is in comparison like the Coast Guard, right? Like the
yeah,
army is like I mean I wouldn't know even how to say I don't know if it's 10 times larger, 100 times larger. I'm not too sure what the density is, but we have like compared to the public affairs of all other branches, we're still relatively small. Like 25 Victor, I think our MOS, if I had to guess, I would say we probably have maybe like 400 people total in the MOS, and that's for the army. That's like really small. Like
yeah,
I can like pretty much 9 times out of 10, if you were to show me a team photo of a unit anywhere in the world, I'd probably know somebody in the
huh,
photo. Like most likely, probably somebody I
okay,
went to school with or somebody that one of my friends went to school with, and I know them from like Facebook or something. It's
yeah.
just like such a small community of people, and that's another reason why I like the job a lot because wherever you go, whatever unit you go to, you'll be like, "Oh, what's up, man? I haven't seen you in a couple years." It's just like it's a very tight knit community.
Yeah, the Coast Guard, the number they always throw around is that we're about the same size as the New York City Police Department, personnel wise. There's like 48,000 or something like that people in the
That's
Coast Guard.
crazy.
Like
Yeah.
the job that I did, I did helicopter search and rescue. I was a aviation maintenance technician, but they like my actual duty was a flight mechanic. So I was the guy who, like, there's a boat sinking somewhere. We would fly out. I would push the swimmer out. He would swim over, and then I would drop the basket. Then he'd put the people in it, and we'd bring them up, and then fly, haul ass back to shore.
Yeah.
Um, so I think there was something like 1,500 people in the Coast Guard that did my job. So if you were a piece of crap, people at the station you were going to next already knew before you got there. Like everybody knows everybody.
Yes.
So
It's funny that you say that. It's the same thing here. Like before we have incoming soldiers, like we can go. It's so funny because we can go around and I go ask one of my NCOs or one
yeah,
of my lower enlisted friends, and we're like, "Do you know this guy?" And they're like, "Yeah, well, Sergeant whatever said that this guy's a piece of shit." And then I go talk to Sergeant whoever, and he's like, "Yeah, that guy's a piece of shit." And then we just kind of all go around before the guy even shows up. He's already got like the worst like reputation in the unit. He's not even got there, and
yeah.
it's funny how that works, and a lot of the times it does end up being true. You can experience some. The military is a great place to meet a lot of great people, but at the same time, you'll meet some of the like most fucked up
Yeah.
people you'll meet in the
I mean,
military sometimes.
I try to explain to people that like the military is definitely like a really good opportunity to get like free school, or if you're
Yeah,
really into it and how it all works, then yeah, like it could be a career. But I just feel like a lot of the people that I met, they just didn't know what else to do, and they got comfortable,
yes, 100%, dude. That it just annoys me so much. Like you always hear the whole 20 years thing. I don't know if is it 20 years for the Coast Guard to retire.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I work with some people sometimes, and I look at them and I'm like, man, there's no way you will not float on the outside, like because
Yeah.
it's just the minuscule things people freak out over sometimes. It's like you need to get over that. Like the insanity sometimes of just like someone if you're working with the wrong person, their entire day can be ruined by like a pen. Like
Yeah.
something as small as like a pen being out of place will completely destroy their entire day. And if you're like that in the outside world as a civilian working wherever you're going to work at, you'll just get fired. Like
Yeah.
it's just not going to work.
Yeah. I mean, I the air station that I worked at, there was about 100 people stationed there, including like pilots and stuff. And I would definitely see that there was the people who like they were just counting the days down. They were like they joined, you know, and they were finally there doing what they hoped would be what they wanted to do, and they just, you know, they hated it. I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
I just felt like I had gotten everything I could out of it, you know. As far as search
Yeah.
and rescue goes, I feel like I got to see a lot and do a lot. But there was a chief that I had talked to. He was getting ready to retire, and he never got one search and rescue case his whole entire like career. Like he just had
Wow.
that bad luck. So there's people that have that too, or they're just, you know, like they're still trying to do the job and it never happens. But it's it's interesting to see. Like I'm sure you've seen it too, where there's the people who, like, you know, they go get checked out, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, I got sleep apnea. Peace. They
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
yeah, we had one guy who he he had not gotten qualified to do anything, and he was just, you know, I got sleep apnea, this and that, and he was like a bodybuilder. Like all he did was work out. And like towards the end when he was about to leave, we were doing some kind of ceremony for somebody's retirement, and we had to put these pictures up of like the different helicopters and stuff, you know, at the different units. And he was like,
Yeah.
hand me that one with the he like totally didn't know what the helicopter was called, like like the model number and stuff. I was like, bro.
More worried about the brand of his
he
protein
was
powder.
he was checked out, bro. He
Yeah.
was done.
That
As
yeah, I
soon
mean
as they,
that's
yeah.
that I've seen it too, man. I've seen it too. Like it like I mentioned earlier, like talking about people that in combat camera, like they just switch the camera over to the green button auto and take photo. Like this sometimes that's just what people do, man. They went to I mean, our AIT is it might be a little bit shorter now, but I was there for 8 months over in Maryland. And you learn a lot of different skills like photo editing, video editing, taking pictures, taking video, like the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
And it's a super intensive photo video program, like one of the most intense for, and also for like no reason, super intensive. It doesn't need to be that long, but I feel like the army sometimes has money and they're like, we need to spend this money. So they're like, let's just make the course the biggest and baddest it's ever seen. Um, but the amount of info these some people get, and then as soon as they graduate, like 90% of that stuff just goes out the window. And it
Yeah.
just shocks me sometimes to see like people like 15, nearly 20 years in, and I'm like explaining how to crop a picture. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my God, bro. Like, come on, man. Like this is like you can do this on your iPhone. Like it's not that hard. It just blows my mind sometimes. But uh it's technology shift, I guess. I don't know. There are many excuses out there, but
Yeah. So, how old are you? How long did you say you've been in?
I'm 20 right now. I've been in for 2 years.
2 years. Okay. And
Yeah,
what's
because I
what's your consensus with it? You want to make it a career, or you just want to do
no,
your tour
no,
and be done?
no. I'm doing 6 years. Like
Okay.
I said, I got off track earlier, but I joined the military. Like you're talking about how there's free college. That's a huge benefit. Like
Yeah.
I don't believe in student loans at all. I think it's a scam.
Yeah,
I
it's
think that
bad.
it's rough, like going, and especially because I'm a person who like wants to get a degree in media and entertainment,
Yeah.
and it's uh it's expensive because I mean personally, for me, I want to go to an art school and go to somewhere that will have a higher tuition cost just because of the curriculum and
Yeah.
the people that have graduated from those schools. Whatever, there's reasons why they're super expensive, but uh, I personally, with my before I joined the military, I freelanced. So when I was 16, I started basically I wanted a car. So I was like, I want to get a car. So I only thing I knew how to do was edit videos. So I reached out to a bunch of people. I remember my first video I ever did for somebody was for this rapper named J-Zack. Super cool dude. Um, so he had this music video, this song that came out called "Show Me the Money," and it was a super cool video that had like a lot of personality to it. And so I reached out to him on Twitter, and I was like, "Hey man, I'm a motion graphics guy, video editing guy. Let me make you a lyric video." And he was like, "Yeah, sure, for free." And I was like, "Yeah, for free. Let's do it." And so I poured like 40 hours in a week straight into this lyric video. It's still up on his YouTube channel. If you look up "Show Me the Money" by J-Zack lyric video, this thing was awesome. Like we went full out on it. We implemented like emojis into it, so it had like kind of a personality to the video, a really cool color scheme. Everything was very bouncy and vibey with the music.
Yeah.
And I got the ball rolling. I ended up doing a couple videos for the manager for Hobson. He, you know who Hobson is? He's kind of a
Sounds
more
familiar.
underground artist, but yeah, he did a bunch of. I'm sure there's a couple of songs of him you've heard. He's got a ton of viral tracks. But one of his artists or his manager's name was Damian Ritter, and he got me in contact with a bunch of people. I ended up doing a few music videos, editing them, doing motion graphics for them, and that was really cool. And then eventually, I migrated my stuff over to a website called Upwork, and that was like a freelance site, and ended up doing pretty well on there. Was able to get my first car, which is a Hyundai Elantra hatchback that I don't have anymore, but ended up getting that, and that was cool. And then eventually, my wife, now girlfriend, then Erin, we ended up moving out to Austin. And I was freelancing there full time, and we were paying the bills and everything. Everything was good. It wasn't like a money thing, but I was like, just thinking in the future, I was kind of like, where am I going to go from here? You know, like, because I
Yeah.
could freelance forever, but I was not willing to give up the little amount of debt that I currently had. The only debt I had was my car payment. Um,
Yeah.
and I was like, I want to go to college really badly, but uh, I can't. I just morally, I just couldn't. I was like, I'm not going to go $100,000 into debt right now. Like it's a forever thing. That's not
Yeah.
just a. And most people before they're. I mean, I don't know what the statistics are, but if you're doing like really really small payments per month, like the longest loan that you can get, you'll be paying for years. And then if you're
Yeah.
refinancing that loan to get lower rates, like it's a forever thing for some people, and I just couldn't do it. So then I thought, well, I mean, I grew up in the military, so I was already cool with the environment. And then I thought, traveling is really cool. I'm not the type of person likes to stay in one spot for a while. Like, I,
Okay.
I figured if I lived in Austin at the time, Austin, Texas, because I moved from Fort Hood with Aaron to Austin to potentially. I was thinking about maybe going to school, but like I said, that obviously didn't pan out. But uh, was hanging out there, and then eventually I talked to a recruiter just because um, I had no idea that the 25 series even existed with combat camera. But as soon as I realized that was a thing that could potentially work out for me, I was like, I was just down to try it, and then
Yeah.
eventually it panned out.
Yeah. Well,
And
that's cool that it worked out for you, man.
yeah, I think it was definitely. I always kind of second guess it. Like you said, how I feel about it. I'm kind of like wishy washy about it. Like
Yeah.
I I enjoy it, but at the same time, I do realize that it's a place. The military is not like 100% for me. Like
Yeah.
I
That's
love
how I
my
felt.
job. Like absolutely 100% love my job. I love the people I work with. Like the majority of the people I work with, I'm sure some of them will end up seeing this video. I absolutely love all the people that I was trained up with, and I appreciate them. They're really cool and supportive of the whole content creation thing I'm doing now. But I know that at the end of the day, um, like editing videos and being creative and making creative content is that's what I've done forever. Like I've been doing YouTube and I guess TikTok now and Twitch, all that for like since I was like 9 years old, like off and on.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that this is eventually what I want to end up doing, but I feel like right now this is a really good stepping stone to like learn, meet people, learn what I got to learn, get the experience that I need to be successful,
Yeah.
and at least that's the way that I'm looking at it right now. It's not a career thing, but definitely just like a learning experience. And I think that's a good takeaway from military service in general. Just like take it as it is and learn as much as you can.
Yeah, when I was doing the deployments over near LA, I had met some people who worked in the film industry, and then I had a coworker who actually knew a guy who did sound over on like the Fox studio lot. So I went and like hung out there for a day, and I was like, yeah, I definitely want to do this, or something like that. And so I started looking at film school and stuff like that. And the more I had talked to people, they were just, they're like, you don't have to go to film school. It's really all connections. Like, you're better off just going and, starting the job as like a production assistant. So that's
Yeah.
what I was dead set on doing. But then everything was shut down. So I started doing all the TikTok and YouTube and stuff like that. And that's just, I decided to commit to that. And
It's fun. Yeah.
it's been crazy.
I congratulate you on the success that you've seen, man. It's like I was looking at your TikTok profile, and it's just like crazy how much like a community you built so quickly. Like the like the G Fuel you do, and all like the streamer tips, and like all the different types of content you produce. Like it does so well, and it's awesome to see that working for you. Like I feel like for a lot of people, they kind of try to emulate the same thing, and you've just like mastered it, and it's awesome.
Well, I feel like it's always changing. I think the thing
Yeah,
is that I get bored doing the same stuff pretty quickly, and
me too. Yeah,
so I'm always thinking about like, all right, what I need to change it up. I've been doing these same types of videos for too long, like I gotta throw
yeah,
something different in there. But it's definitely I'm in a wave right now because that's something I've realized is that it comes in waves, and
yes.
I think right now because of the holidays, it's just a really good time to put a lot of effort into it. But when I had first started in April, I posted a few videos that didn't do well on TikTok specifically, and then I was getting out. I was like moving and everything, and during that time, I was just like reading stuff, listening to people on YouTube talk about like the TikTok algorithm, stuff like that. And so I started putting that stuff into practice, and it seemed to take off a little bit. And then like all of a sudden, just everybody hopped on TikTok, and it definitely got harder to grow and stuff. So this past week has been pretty crazy, as far as like the huge spike that I've had. But I know that like from experience, it comes down just as fast as it goes up. So
Yeah.
it's you definitely, from what I've seen, you definitely don't want to like explode overnight. People think that that's like what's gonna happen, but I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
I haven't seen too many people explode like that and then like stay there. Like I think Jordy 2D is probably like the best example of somebody who's been able to like pull something like that off. Like he still averages like 1,500 viewers on Twitch. Um,
Yeah. I mean, he's got those. That's the guy that makes those like screaming Modern Warfare videos, right?
yeah, he wears like the Sonic costume and stuff like that sometimes.
Yeah,
He does
that
like
dude
Sonic
is
Saturdays. Yeah,
hilarious.
yeah, he played with Tim the
Yeah,
Tap
and
Man.
that guy, yeah, I remember I saw that they have like a bit going on right now where they go back and forth with each other, and that's huge. Like Tim's a giant streamer. Not, I mean, I guess physically as well, but as a uh, as a streamer himself, he's a good. He's also a funny dude. So I'm glad that. I mean, and for sure, like blowing up overnight is something that people dream about. But whenever
Yeah,
you take the slow approach, I think what's more important about that is you're building up a community of people that are watching your videos consistently, and that's what matters. Like whether you have 5 people in your chat or 3 people or whatever, those three
yeah,
people are learning about you and understanding you and are connecting with you, and then they show their friends, and then their friends show their friends, and whether you got 100 followers or 100,000 followers, like it's all about that consistency and about just making good content. Like that's what I ended up finding myself doing. I feel like for for this interview, so I think I should talk about the way that I got into TikTok, and it's kind of a funny story. Like I started doing TikTok when I was in the military. I got in and did basic training, and then I went to AIT, and I remember I talked about that earlier for about 8 months. So the way it works for us is we go from basic training, and then I did basic training in Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, which was I went there in the wintertime. It was so cold, was so rainy, was just disgusting. I never want to go to Missouri again. I'm sorry if you were anybody that's watching is from Missouri, will never go back ever. The place is horrible. No, nothing
My
but bad memories of that
my
place.
girlfriend has
Like,
family there.
yeah, that place is disgustingly horrible. I will never go back.
Misery.
Um, yeah, misery, literally. Like, 2 months straight there in the cold and the rain, outside getting yelled at by drill sergeants doing push-ups. I've never. That's bad vibes there. But after that, we get sent out to AIT. So when you graduate basic training, you get. I mean, they pile you up like sheep, and they hand you out your orders. And of course, I mean, I was the only comcam in my entire company of soldiers, so I get my orders, and I'm the only one going to Fort Meade, Maryland, and then I say goodbye to everybody. It was kind of an annoying moment because everybody else, everybody else went to their same terminals because everybody had pretty much the same flights. Most people were going to Fort Benning, or most people were going to Fort Sill, or going wherever they were going to go. A lot of people had the same
Yeah.
MOS, so they were like, "Yeah, buddy," and it's just me, the lonely comcam, walking over to Pacific Airlines like by myself, just like, "Okay, see you guys later. I guess we'll never see each other again. Whatever, peace out." And then so it's just me, and I go, and then I go to Fort Meade, and for 8 months I was there, and fortunately, because my AIT was long enough, I was able to actually, because my wife and I got married like right before I joined the military, and
Yeah.
I was able to request housing for her and me because my AIT was so long, and
Yeah.
I was able to live at my house. So eventually, a lot of the people I worked with, we were all on TikTok. It was just kind of popular. This is in September, no, earlier than that. Yeah, I think I got there in, man, when was it? January, February, March, April, probably around May time. Yeah,
Of this year?
before May. Yeah, for when I got to Fort Meade, I'm just trying to remember because I
Oh.
enlisted in January and then spent February, March. So yeah, I probably got there in April, and then I stayed there from April to November of 2019.
Okay.
And
2019.
yeah, TikTok was the big thing uh, during that time.
So
And then
you were kind of ahead of the curve there, because I know a lot of people didn't start till this year.
yeah. But the thing that's annoying is I ended up stopping it after I graduated AIT because I was just too focused on what was going on. I was really focused on getting like really good grades when I was in AIT, and that ended up working out. I ended up getting honor graduate for both classes just because I grinded like a motherfucker. Like I tried really hard to push out like really good
Yeah.
grades and good videos and good photos just because um where's a resume thing mainly. Like when I get out, I can just put training, undergraduate, and then hit that, which was cool. But I saw that TikTok was popping off, and we were already making videos, so I made a bet with a lot of people that I worked with or trained up there with, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try to make a TikTok go viral, which was basically what I tried to do. I wish I documented it because I think it would be a fun video. Oh. But I followed the trends and just pretty much for about a month or so, every single day, my wife and I would come home from school, and then we'd make a TikTok together, and made all different types of things. And eventually had one that got like 5 million views, and that's at that point, like, cool. I did the viral TikTok. I was in AIT in the military, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna focus on my school, focus on going to my next duty
Yeah.
station. So then in September, it was a little bit before September. I think no, that video that went viral was in August, and I fully quit TikTok in September. And I wish I wouldn't have done that because I think that if I had, I was just in a weird place in life because in AIT for the Army, if you're living in housing, it's almost like prison in a way because you're not supposed to. It's such a weird position because when you're in AIT, you're it's basically like an extension of basic training because
Yeah.
you are still not fully granted the privileges of a like soldier. Like you're still
Yeah.
not, you haven't earned your MOS yet. You're still in training in something that the Army calls TRADOC, which is
Yeah.
a weird extension of the Army that's basically like little kid Army. It's kind of like daycare in a way. Like TRADOC is kind of like that. But there were things that I couldn't do. Like technically, I wasn't supposed to leave my house and go anywhere, but like on post services because I wasn't an adult anymore. I was still a little army kid, and I couldn't do anything like that. So, but I mean, I still would go out and go to the beaches and go take my dogs out, go wherever, but just like low key. Um, but it was like a weird place because I had a house and I had Aaron there, but the whole thing was kind of strange because we figured that the chances of us staying there, because I could get stationed there, was possible. It's one
Yeah,
of our duty stations that's popular, but the chances were low, right? So I
right.
was like, I don't really know if I want to settle down and start like working on content because I mean eventually I wanted to get back into doing YouTube because I did Let's Plays for a while and I did stream for a little bit, but the only thing I was really doing at the time was TikTok. And with how many things were going on in my life, I kind of just eventually, like I said, it just kind of stopped. And um, then now I started streaming again on Twitch and doing TikTok about a month and a half, maybe 2 months ago, and it's been super fun. I think that I regret for sure not continuing it whenever I started back in 2019, but um, I'm glad I started now and making content again and I'm kind of just resumed the content that I was making with like skits and um, comedy videos because the streamer TikTok some of the videos I see they're entertaining to me, but I know that for me they would come off as disingenuine because I probably wouldn't enjoy making them because they're just not that's just not my
Yeah,
style. I like to make more like produced written skits.
yeah.
That's just kind of
I
like I don't know why, but
I
that's just
did
kind of what I ended up.
that one where I it was like about the pity TikTok when you get one follower.
Oh
Dude,
yeah,
that shit cracked me up
yeah.
so much, dude.
Yeah,
Where
I
you're
get
like
I
all
got some
dancing.
inspiration from the there's this guy who does that a lot. He does like political statements and puts them on TikTok and
Yeah.
puts up a whole bunch. He just dances to different songs like that. And I was like,
Okay.
you know what? Because this guy he has like different types of hot takes. So I was like, I'm gonna try to like replicate that video and give him credit. And the video didn't do super well, but it was like so I thought it was hilarious too. Like it was such
Yeah.
a great loop too.
Yeah, I mean the way that I've noticed things seem to work is something might not do well, but if there's a small group of people who are like, that's hilarious, like do more of this. Like I got to do another one. That's what I'm planning on doing after this. But there's a I do Twitch chat in real life, so it's like I'm sitting here
Yes.
streaming, and yeah,
The
you
guy
seen
who
those?
walks in
Yeah, the two guys
the guy who
walking.
walks in
Yeah,
the door.
yeah. So I gotta do another one here for the new place. But that's I mean every single one that I post is like all right another one. You know, like they really like that. So it's definitely like a series now, and I just got to do another one to keep it
Yeah,
going.
I'd say
But
that's probably my second favorite series you do, second to the little man choosing
the G
the
Fuel.
flavors. I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for him to choose an amazing combo. Has he done that yet? Like choose like a
No,
10 out of like an infinite
I
out of 10.
So I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like kids that age, they just kind of like they have tunnel vision. So it's like whatever one he's like right
Yeah.
in front of, that's the one he wants to pick. So it's like I got to be careful because I'll put him in. You know, if I put him in front of peach cobbler, he's gonna try to mix that with like sour blue chug rug or something nasty. You know, so
Yeah. I'm
yeah,
waiting for him to come up with some crazy combo and you're kind of like expecting it to be terrible and you're like, "Oh my gosh, this is
this is
the
the holy
best thing I've
grail
ever had."
of G Fuel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no. I'm waiting for that one day like no,
yeah,
I love those series, man. They're great. We were talking earlier. I think that the content that you've been making is exactly like the perfect mixture of like TikTok entertainment content, but also keeping it streaming related. Because
yeah. That's I
I
think
think that
that's
I
a
end up
big thing.
straying
Yeah,
too far away from like the streaming part, and I end up just like really focusing on entertainment stuff. But that's just the stuff I like making. Like I'm just
yeah.
a sort of like a comedian. That's kind of like the way I approach TikTok.
Well, I mean, I see you doing the TV show ones. Have you thought about doing like a video game one where it's like, oh, like new teaser trailer for like Halo Infinite or something, and it's just a troll
Yeah,
video,
I've
you
considered it
know?
for sure, and it might be harder to fool people with that
Yeah,
one, but I've definitely thought about branching it out. Right now, I'm kind of taking a break with it because I ended up posting a lot, and then the algorithm was kind of like rejecting some of them. So I'm trying to give it a week or two, and then I pushed out a new series idea about a Discord mod named Justin who goes to apply for a job, and his only piece of experience is being a Pokimane Discord mod for 3 days. and he walks in, and that's like the only thing on his resume is like Discord mod for
Yeah.
Pokimane, and he gives it to the interviewer, and he's like never heard of Discord before. It just says Discord mod on it, and the bits that the Justin, the kid's like, oh yeah, it's a Discord mod for Pokimane for 3 days, and then the guy's like, wait, what? And then he calls the CEO in. The CEO is like, what's going on? And this guy's like, he's a Pokimane Discord mod. And then the CEO ends up freaking out on him, getting angry, and he's like, what's going on? And then he looks over to Justin. He's like, what's your name? And Justin's like, Justin. And then the guy's like, I'm sorry for the fucking interviewer's behavior, but with your qualifications, you're supposed to skip the
Yeah.
interview.
You're
And he
taking
shakes
his
his hand.
job.
Yeah, right. Like he's like the most insane thing. And so I kind of want to continue that series and like get behind the scenes and be like,
Okay.
why is this CEO so
Yeah.
obsessed with like Pokemon Discords? And basically, like, yeah, I could go a million different directions with it, but it ended up doing really well, which I was really happy. I remember, like, for me, I get really happy when I see an original idea of mine do well on TikTok, because it's like
Yeah.
something that I manifested in my head, and I write out scripts and everything in the same way that I would for like a short film. And when they do well and I try really hard on them and people receive it well, it's like the most satisfaction I
Yeah.
can gain out of being a creator. Like, this original idea doing super well, and then I don't know. That's why I keep doing it, because when they do well and I see people receive it well, it gives me like the motivation to come up with more
Yeah.
cool ideas like that and just like entertain people. That's basically it.
Yeah, we had talked about it before we started recording about the pity TikTok thing. So I had
Yeah.
started out doing like the struggles of a small streamer. That was like one of the first ones I posted, and I'd post one here and there, but I never liked them. It was always something where I was like, they
Like,
work,
oh, I
but
don't want to make this today.
yeah, but that's the thing is like they have that. I mean, they definitely don't work as well as they used to. Like it used to be like people would go check out your thing, and then like somebody else would start making them, and they'd move on to them. So it was like it's just people are just moving on. Like, oh, let's help this person out. He's trying to be a streamer, and
Yeah.
I didn't. I had seen people who had just done those videos, and they don't stream anymore. You know what I mean? It's like it's definitely not the way to go. And the
Yeah.
last one I did, um, well, no, it wasn't the last one. After that, I started trolling with them. Because I did one and like, I guess Clicks watched it on his stream. I don't know if you know who
Oh,
Clicks
really?
is. Yeah, he watched it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so I got like 3,000 hate comments saying I copied some dude, because it was pretty much like
What?
word for word and everything. And so I was like, all right, well, I like I was just answering comments like like my bad, but then like it was just flooded with hate comments, but it blew up and got like 1.5 million views. So I was like, here's all these new
It
people checking out my stream.
Yeah.
It's like
TikTok sees an
it's double
interaction as an
edged.
interaction, whether it's a negative interaction or it's a positive interaction. If you watch a TikTok all the way through, and then whether you like it or not, if you comment on it or share it, that's huge for the algorithm. Like, and if when they push it out to 100 people and 50% of them watch it all the way through, leave a comment, whether it's, I mean, it could be a hate comment, whatever,
Yeah,
and that pushes it out to 100 more people, 50% does it again, the algorithm eats that up, and they're like,
yeah.
yes,
So
keep it
I mean,
coming.
there was like 3,000 hate comments, but it had like 164,000 likes. So it's like
Yeah.
you know you see those like hate comments, but at the end of the day, there's 164 people who are like, oh cool, and they liked it. So it's like,
I know,
or
and that's, I mean,
164,000. I mean,
that's huge. I mean,
yeah,
and then yeah, we talk about the pity TikToks.
they've gotten
I'll,
so bad, man.
yeah, and my main issue with it is, so I've seen the ones where it's like, I have X amount of days to get to Twitch partner, and I'm trying to live out my dreams and whatever, and it's like, I guess that's admirable, but like, there's no reason to put like a timer on your viewer base to like try to get you more supporters. Like, I feel
Yeah,
like you're throwing your own supporters under the bus whenever you're like, I need more. You're like, I need more viewers. I can't deal with the amount of viewers I have right now. So for the people that support you currently, and they're the ones that they're the 64 people that are keeping you away from getting Twitch partner. That's what they see, is they're holding you
yeah,
back essentially. And it's like, I don't know, you shouldn't throw your own viewer base under the bus like that. And on top of that, just like grind content out, like show
yeah,
people why they should watch your streams, show them highlights, show them anything else other than like, feel bad for me, I need to get Twitch partner so I don't have to go get a job. Like, just
yeah,
grind it out, man. You'll be fine. And then I feel like it kind of, another issue I have with it is like it delegitimizes everything else about the community as well. Like, because for some people that see that pity TikTok, that's the only time that streamer TikTok has ever shown up on their For You page, and that's their first impression. It's like it's
Well,
almost like they just hit like the beggar's corner of TikTok,
yeah.
and it's like
So,
I don't want to
so
watch that.
I see like two different styles. I see the one where, because the ones that I'm talking about are like where you're streaming and it's like, oh, you got one viewer and it's like awesome, you're like over the moon about it, and then like the next day it's 0 viewers and you're just like, damn, like you're all upset,
Yeah,
and then like all of a sudden you got 2 or 3 and you're like just super excited, and then it ends with like at 0 again. You're just like, what am I doing wrong, and then like people are like, oh, like let's go, what, like you got it, man, you're gonna do it, you're gonna make this, and yeah, they only go so far. But now the ones that I see are the people who are like, when all you do is grind and stuff like that, but then nobody watches you, those types of things. And then I see the ones where it's like this video, they're pointing and everything, and it's like, and we'll help support each other. And it's like, no, man, that's not organic
it just
growth,
it's
you
just like a
know?
pyramid scheme for like
Yeah,
them to get followers, and then I mean, and it's just inflating your numbers at that point. Like
yeah,
really what you have to, if I mean, I'm sure you have a lot of people who are looking to be a streamer or looking to be a content creator.
yeah,
It's not about the numbers. Like when you start, if you focus so much on the numbers, like I made a TikTok that was making fun of people that did that do like the streamer weekly check-ins, like what they do at their video, and they're like TikTok
yeah.
followers, Twitch
I did
followers.
that one
I did
time and I was like, this is stupid.
I know, because it's just like people can
Focusing
just
on
go
the
look at
numbers too
that.
much,
Yeah,
you
I mean,
know?
you're focusing on the numbers so much that you're obsessed with it enough to where you have to check in weekly with it. But it, for me, I guess as a viewer, I don't. I mean, for me, I don't care. Like, if I
Yeah,
want to go see your TikTok viewer count or your Twitch
yeah,
viewer count or follower, I'll just go look at it. And
yeah.
then I feel like it's just filler content at that point. And I made a video where I like pointed at like the YouTube thing, and it said like milk and eggs, and I pointed at the second one and it said like extra strong hemorrhoid cream, and the third one was like small condoms, and I look at the camera, I'm like, oh fuck, how'd I paste my grocery list onto here or whatever. And yeah, and it's just to make fun of people that do that. And I feel like I definitely I feel bad ragging on some people, but they just gotta hear it. They gotta hear it, or else they're gonna keep
It's
doing it
yeah,
forever.
it's tough love because people. I mean, the thing is people see it and they're like, "Oh, it works," because it does. It has a very short term payoff, but if it's not, it's not original content, so people aren't really seeing your personality. So
Yeah.
you're just getting pity views for a little bit. I mean, I for a while I had a series where my girlfriend, she would ask me how the stream went, and it was, I would show the stream stats, and so people were seeing how like I grew, and eventually I stopped doing it because there was just started to see so many people doing it. I was like, I feel like I've caused people to focus on the numbers too much, so I stopped doing it.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, in the beginning, that's something that I fell into that too when I first started streaming. I was like, every day I was looking at Twitch average viewer count. That was when I was trying to get. I guess it made sense too because I was trying to hit affiliate at that point, and I was like, I
yeah,
kind of have to focus on the numbers here. 3.0. Like I remember I would ask the guy had like 2 viewers at the time, and I was like, hey, if you guys could just like open it up on another device or something,
yeah,
just so that way we can hit 3.0 average. And after that point, I was so focused on the numbers. That was for like the first 2 or 3 weeks of streaming when I started a couple months ago, and I was like, focusing on the numbers. And then it got to the point where I had like a really hype stream. Like I think it was my Thanksgiving stream that you had rated me on, and I was doing like the maid costume cooking thing for Thanksgiving.
yeah,
And yeah, that was awesome, by the way. Thanks for that. But I ended up the stream after, because they have like these really great streams that do super well, and like there's like a lot of people chatting, and you have like a lot of regulars there. But then the stream after that sometimes will not be nearly as hype. I remember I got like really depressed that day because I was like, man, like I had this like super awesome stream, and even before you rated me, it was amazing. Like all my viewers were there. We were like 15 people, which is like for me is huge. Like that's like a
yeah,
lot of people in my stream. And then I remember we started the next day, and there was like 3 or 4 there, and I was like, man, like the difference between the two is crazy. But then what I had to realize, when I got out of that kind of slump, I was like, there were still 3 or 4 people there watching me play Minecraft, and I was like,
that's
that's awesome
crazy.
for me.
Yeah,
Yeah, like that's huge, and that's what you got to realize. Like if you're wanting to be a streamer, like if you're looking at gigantic streamers that average 40,000 people, that is like the 1%. And like
Yeah.
that's very that, those people have most people have taken years to achieve that. They've been doing this thing for a decade, a lot of these people.
Yeah.
And you just got to find your own community. Like I have like the viewers that I have, I'm super grateful for. Like I have some very dedicated and like loyal people that follow my stream, and they believe that I can do it and make it a full-time thing. And if I could ever do that, that would be awesome. But for right now, I'm chilling, vibing out with them and having fun with it. And honestly, if it ever starts to feel like a drag or it feels like a chore, I'd probably just stop doing it because at that point I'm not having fun anymore. But for
Yeah.
now, I'm having a ton of fun with it, and I've been entertaining people, and I've had multiple people come into my stream and be like, you make content that like puts a smile on my face and makes me happy, and watching these streams like a highlight of my day, and that's the reason why I do it right there. Is like
Yeah.
not for the views and not for like fame or money or whatever. That's 100% like I could do this thing for 5 years, and if I'm still having fun with it, but I average 5 viewers still,
Yeah.
that's all the same
I
to me.
mean,
Like it's awesome.
have you heard of Harris Heller?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, he talks about how like 99% of Twitch is streaming to 15 viewers or less.
yeah.
So that in itself is just, it shows you like how hard it is to really grow on Twitch.
It's so
Like,
saturated. It's so
yeah.
saturated.
And there's like no discoverability on there. And I mean they're working on it.
No.
I don't know if you see they're rolling out a feature where like they can use channel points to get you on the recommended. Yeah.
Yeah, the boost.
Yeah, so we'll see how that affects it. Because I know people have been telling me I've been showing up on the recommended for certain things now, because I do end up for certain games towards the top of the list. But it's just weird. Like, I mean, even if you are at the top of the list on Twitch, people might click on it just to see what's going on. But I mean, it's just not,
Yeah.
there's, if people don't know you, there's just really no reason for them to click on you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
And
that's
that's
why,
where social media comes in. You got to
yeah,
utilize
using the other
promoting yourself on
platforms.
cross platforms.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's something that unfortunately it's like a good thing and a bad thing, but like everybody's doing it. Everybody's using TikTok to do the streamer thing, and
Yeah.
I feel like now you just got to do something different. You got to get away from doing the here's my stats or here's my streamer tip that a million other people have talked about before, or here's how to make your OBS have pretty colors or whatever. Like you got to figure out something different, and you got to stick with that thing and show people why, because you said 99%, you got to show people why you could be the 1%,
Yeah.
because without any solid reason it's just not gonna happen.
Well, yeah, and I mean I think Twitch also kind of has caused this misconception that, like, all you have to do is just hit 75 average viewers, and then like you'll be a partner. I've been I've applied for this is my second time I've applied for partner, and I'm coming up on 2 months since I applied, and for the second time, which I mean I'm told is a good sign. You know what I mean? Like the longer it takes for them to get back to you, but at the same time there's the holidays, so it's like I hate that I'm here just wondering what's happening, and
Yeah,
so I've tried to not talk about it. I'm like, the partner thing is cool, but like if it doesn't happen, I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing.
yeah.
But I mean,
It's all at the end of the day. It's a little check mark next to the name.
yeah,
It's like,
they definitely care more about subs and stuff, because
yeah,
at the end of the day, Twitch is a business. You know what I mean? You could have 3,000 people watching you, but if you're not getting subs, they don't care.
yeah, and also for
So
them, it's also yeah. I mean, you say it's a business. It's a business decision for them to make you a partner because you earn. I mean, I'm not 100% familiar with everything that being a partner entails, but I know from what I've heard, you get a better cut on subscriber revenue. You get better brand deals. I mean, when you're a partner, you're a representative of their company,
yeah,
and they need to be familiar with you, and they need to understand like what you offer to the platform that would make you a reasonable pick for them. Like it's like a draft almost. I feel
yeah,
like for some of the partner picks, and then I mean, and it's a huge deal. Like when you become a partner, I feel like if the way I view it, at least, if you're like becoming a Twitch partner, that probably means that you're in a position to where you can pursue Twitch as a full time thing, and like
yeah.
that's like solidifies like if you have any doubts, it's like okay, no, we can probably do this.
Yeah, I mean, people ask me, they're like, "So you're a full-time streamer?" And I'm like, no, streaming is like a big chunk of it, but I mean, I spend 2/3 of my time making content You know, I mean, right now it's the holidays, so I've been kind of chilling a little bit more than usual. But as soon as as soon as I get back from visiting my sister for New Year's, like I'm like, all right, babe, I'm locking myself in the room, and I'm gonna go. I'm gonna start grinding out YouTube content more and stuff like that, because my YouTube is starting to grow a little bit, definitely because of
Yeah.
the podcast and stuff. But um, it's just my stuff's all over the place. I've really tried to focus more on what can I provide entertainment wise, instead of like, how do I get people to come watch me and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like the people that I have, like, how do I get them to still be entertained and stick around? You know what I mean? Because that's another
Yeah.
big thing, is people focus too much on trying to get other people, and they forget that there's all these people here already,
I know,
watching
yeah,
you.
that's and I think that's like rolling back to the pity TikToks thing. I could never do that to my viewer base. Like the people, like the viewers that I'm sure I got people from. I'm going to share this podcast when it comes out and have them watching it. I'm sure like they'll be here watching it now. I can't disrespect them like that. Like going out on TikTok and being like, I need more people
Yeah.
because like I appreciate all the people that are there already, man. Like they're out there watching a streamer with like sometimes for me like 4 viewers, right? Like there's no reason for them to be in there, but they're spending their time they could be doing anything else with, watching me
Yeah.
die in Minecraft over and over again, and it's like, it's huge, and I think that yeah, it's all about entertainment now. Like for me, I'm right now I'm 100% focusing up on my TikTok. Like I've been having honestly more fun with TikTok than I have been with Twitch, and it's just because like I've been having so many ideas. Like I have another series idea that I'm probably going to be creating today and pushing out tomorrow that has to do with like recreating vines almost. Like um I can't talk about the idea right now, but because I have
Yeah, I got you.
so many ideas that I don't want it to get yeeted off the podcast, but
Yeah.
um I think that it's going to be a fun one. And I just keep getting like I go to bed sometimes, or in the bathroom or in the shower or something. I just get all these ideas rolling in my head. I'm just like, okay, yeah, we can do that. We can do that. We can do that. And it's been fun. And I think that TikTok has been like a huge way to grow my platform. But what I want to do, I think strategically, is like grow the TikTok up and then eventually start promoting my streams a little bit more, because I never really talk about my streams on TikTok. Mainly, I'll put like in a comment on like the video, like, "Hey, stream on Twitch," or I'll do TikTok lives and be
Yeah.
like, "Hey, if you want to follow Twitch, whatever."
So
And it's a niche.
besides like the Twitch chat in real life ones, or if I do like some kind of affiliate video or something, like I have the like a lamp that I have that I did a little video review on that and why I liked it, and then
Yeah,
here's my affiliate code. But other than that, I mean, all my videos have been where I take like a comment. It's like responding to a comment. I feel like that has become definitely my thing, where that the most of my videos are just that. Um, but I mean, like yesterday, I posted a TikTok where it was another G Fuel video, but it was somebody said let little man try G Fuel for 1 million likes.
oh yeah,
And
yeah, I saw that
yeah,
one.
and I mean, I did the G Fuel hydration, but I feel like as soon as people are like, oh, it's for, he's trying to get 1 million likes, as soon as people think you're just trying to get something, it's just not, they don't want to deal with it.
Yeah,
They don't want to do
that,
anything with it.
that's why the series, the fake TV show series. You're talking about how you like that series. A lot of people really do, but there's it's definitely fallen into that realm of like when I made the Brooklyn Nine-Nine. That was the one where I got a lot of more negative feedback than I expected, because I made the video and people felt like I was making fun of these people too much because I tried so hard in the video. I mean, realistically, the video took me like it's just because I've done this forever. It took me like an hour to make, so I feel like people thought that I spent like a full day, like 24 hours
Yeah.
working on the video, because I mean it was all sped up and whatnot, and they don't get to see the full behind the scenes. Like people thought that I put like my life's work into making this Brooklyn Nine-Nine video. Honestly, I spent maybe a maximum of 2 hours between, and most of the time was spent not even editing; it was finding the clips. Like I spent way more time
Yeah.
trying to find clips to create the narrative, and people felt like there's a big group of people that felt like I was doing it just for views, because at the end of the video I said like the moral of the story is don't just believe everything you see on the internet. And I felt like that's
Right.
kind of a good piece of advice, especially right now. And I didn't expect for it to be taken in a negative light. But people were like, there's no moral of this story. Like you're just trying to post this video to mess with people and get views and get clout. And I was like, well, to be honest, in my head, that's not what was going through it. It was more of just like continuing this fake TV show series
Yeah.
because people wanted to see Brooklyn Nine-Nine next. Um, but I mean, I could see their point, and that's why I'm kind of reevaluating the kind of direction I want to take this series. I don't want to make fun of people. That's not definitely not the
Right.
goal. That's why I blur out their last name and their profile picture. Um, so I definitely don't want to perceive that way, but I think name perception is a huge deal, and so I want to make sure that I'm not coming off as a jerk or an asshole
Yeah.
because I'm making fun of people on Facebook. So we'll
Yeah.
see how that goes.
Well, I've definitely started to shy away from asking people like, follow me and stuff like that. I feel like that has
Yeah,
definitely been that's something that like everybody's done. And I think people just, they see that and they're like, all right, time to move on, like once they get to that part
yeah.
of the video.
I experienced that thing. I made this very like long-winded troll video that was about me sending a photo of myself to get graded by PSA, the Pokemon card grading service. You ever heard of them?
No, but I 100% understand what you're talking about.
Yeah, so like people send in their Pokemon cards to this
Yeah,
service to get graded, and whatever whatever value they come back as increases the resale value.
right.
And so if you get sent back a PSA 10, it's like, oh man, I can sell this Charizard card for $40,000. So I was like, I made this video where I was like, I'm gonna send a photo of myself. So I took this like really ugly photo and then printed it out on my printer, put it into like an Amazon slip, and then pretended to ship it out. And that was like the only time I've ever done a like for a part two video, because the ending of the video was a Rick roll. I Rick rolled everybody that watched it because
Yeah.
I'm like I show the camera. I'm like, here's the thing, and like I show them like, oh, like the PSA sent a thing, and then on the back of it there's a handwritten note with like a smiley face on it with a phone number, and I call my wife and I'm like, hey, somebody put a phone number on this thing, and I'm like, do you think it's a girl? And she's like, I really hope it's not. And I call them, and then on the phone you can hear the and then like the beginning of the Rick roll sound, and then the Rick roll pops up, and it's like, so it was meant to mess with people. And the whole like for a part two thing, so many people got angry. Like people were so mad at
Yeah.
me for doing a part two because I think specifically what it is, it's like I'm making them wait, and then the whole like for a part two thing, like specifically saying like this video to get a part two. I was gonna make a part two regardless, but that was the first time where I was like, damn, people are mad at me.
I
And
mean, I see my girlfriend all the time. She'll be watching a TikTok and it's like, and like for part two if you want to see what happens. She's like, she gets all, she's like, come on,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
So
it makes me mad too. But I at least for that video, I knew the end result was gonna make people mad regardless. So I was like,
yeah, you're
it
like
is what it is.
whatever. Either way, they're gonna be pissed. So
Yeah. I guess my thing on TikTok right now is I'm just like the king of messing with people online and making them believe something's gonna happen when
yeah.
it's not.
So
Feels kind of bad. But
to kind of segue into some other stuff, you said you mentioned that you watch Banger stuff. Like you saw the podcast with him and
yeah,
you,
yeah. I haven't watched it all the way through yet. I was watching it this morning when I got up just to kind of get another feel for the podcast. I watched through
yeah,
the first couple minutes, and I mean that dude's hilarious.
yeah,
I follow him on TikTok. I followed him for a while. Like what I
that's
do is
cool.
I'll go on TikTok and I'll scroll, and when I see a streamer, like even if they're really small, I'll give them a follow just if I see that they're doing something that makes me laugh or is just like entertaining. Like it's not just like a here's my stats TikToker. It's like a here's something from my stream. If it makes me chuckle or makes me just kind of do like a nose breathe on TikTok, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll give you a follow. And
Yeah,
Ankle Banger is one of those people I just so happen to find.
yeah. He actually used to be like a co-host of this podcast. Like we did like the first three
Oh
episodes
yeah. I
together.
remember seeing him on a few. That was
Yeah,
funny because when I saw the Ankle Banger podcast get uploaded like it was less than a day ago now. I saw him and I was like, oh yeah, I remember he was on a podcast before with. I think I watched. Can't remember who it was, but I remember him being there.
yeah. I've right when I got serious about streaming and everything. That's when I met him and that guy just that guy cracks me up. And he definitely for him it's like a side hobby. He never takes it seriously.
Yeah.
And so like he never asks people to come follow his Twitch. And if he does, it's a total troll. He's like, "Oh, please," like begging and stuff. Like
Yes.
but I mean, I
He
saw the
I won't lie. He's kind of the one who gave me the idea to he gave me like the inspiration sort of to do that dancing video in my laundry room with the pity TikTok thing because he did the same thing sort of, and uh I thought it was so funny. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna put my own twist on this thing. But yeah, definitely shout out to him for that one. That video was funny. I know which one you're
Yeah,
talking about.
he's doing a lot of League of Legends stuff right now because he's been playing that a lot. So all his stuff is
Yeah,
just like super super nerdy with the League of Legends stuff. It's funny.
yeah.
Um,
I've seen where he does the like the I don't know enough about League of Legends at all, but like the you talking about mid or something like that, and he
yeah, it's like
switches
a
like all like the
yeah, it's like
letters to
a
like yeah.
acronym. Yeah,
Yeah. I've seen those. Those are really
and they're
funny. I
like
mean, I
these
don't even
long
know
ass.
anything about League of Legends, but they're funny to me. I don't even know the game.
Yeah, no, I mean, he used to do a lot of duets and stuff like that, and there was he would do like the troll streamer tips. He was
Yeah.
um, like if you wanna to have better sound quality or something like that, he'd be like, first you just take your mic, and then he'll totally just change into like, and then you shove it up your butt or something like that. You know, like
I love those, man. Like, I that's funny. I've never seen those before, but I did a video like that where I was on my phone and I was like, "Do you want to? I want to show you how to make your TikToks go from this." And I put it down and then looked at the camera to this and make it like really good. And the first thing I was like, "Okay, the first thing we're gonna do is go to Google and you're gonna type in how to start minding my own damn business," and then the TikTok just
yeah,
ends. Like, I just
yeah,
love like leaving
yeah,
people like
yeah,
that.
yeah. No,
Those
they're
are funny.
dude, the problem with me is like I'm very sarcastic, so when I do stuff like that, half my comments are people like, "Oh, dude, I thought it was real," and you know, like they're all pissed off, and I'm like, "Sorry, dude." Like
Yeah.
I did the one where I said like my girlfriend cheated on me, and people were like, they went to the comments and were like typing, and then all of a sudden they hear me talking about the Cheetos and like, oh, like they totally thought my girlfriend
I
had cheated on me.
I saw that. Well, those are the ones like the Doritos, right? Where she went to she
Yeah, I
got the
was like, I
Cheetos
asked you,
instead of the
I asked you to go to
Doritos.
the store and buy Doritos, and you buy Cheetos. Yeah, it was like,
Yeah,
oh,
that
and
video was
then
really good. That one got me. I'm not gonna lie. For the first, because I think I had the same issue where my sarcasm can sometimes get lost on people just because I sound so serious. And I remember watching that video and I was like, oh shit, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? And I saw the whole Cheetos thing, and then it took me a second. Then I realized that your name was Danny Dorito, and I was like, that's funny. That's really funny. I like that.
yeah, I actually I did one a while back where like I critiqued this other streamer's TikTok, and I was being like super sarcastic saying that like, oh come on, like we could see your nice mic on the desk and like, you know, you're doing this and that, and it got perceived as like a serious thing, and I had like
Yeah.
Lucci comment and say that it was weird and stuff like that. And I was like, well, all right, like it was like
Whoops.
it was drama, big time. And like she responded and was like, you should have responded to me privately and stuff like that, and I was like, well
Damn.
shit, you know, because it
Just trying
turned
to be
out it was
funny.
her birthday when I posted it, so it was like I was
Oh
totally shitting on
no.
her TikTok. Yeah, and so like I responded and I was like, well, I didn't know it was your birthday, I'm sorry, I apologize for that. If I had known, I wouldn't have posted it that day, but I don't apologize for making a video, you know.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I don't, you know, she posted and was like, I don't know why you even apologized to begin with then and stuff like that. And I was like, all right, I'm done with this. I was just like, you know
Just
what? I made
gotta
a mistake, you know, let's just move
sometimes
on
people
from it.
gotta
I
get
don't,
ragged on. It's just funny, man.
yeah, I
Like,
was like, I'm not going to try to explain my way out of this. I'm just saying, you know, I messed up. Sorry. Because it got perceived as like me just straight up calling her out in front of everybody. And I was like, damn. But
yeah, it's tough. Like, I'm sure I'll end up getting myself in that position at some point, just because I'm just so sarcastic sometimes
yeah.
that like it
Well,
just
she
comes off
was,
as me being an asshole.
not only that, she was bigger than me at the time. So it was like, pure like, oh, it's just clout chasing. It's just a
Yeah.
troll that blew up in his face. And like, because not only that, I wake up the next morning because I asked my girlfriend. I was like, "Should I just take it down?" And I was like, "Cause I don't take down videos. You know what I mean? I just don't
Yeah.
do it." And so I wake up in the morning and literally people are calling me out on Twitter. Like Lucci commented on
Dang.
it, and like there was some guy that I guess was like on the same team as her at one point or something, and he made a TikTok because I had also posted that I got denied for partner that day and that I was gonna
Oh
reapply,
no.
and so he's like, because you suck. And it's just like, who is this
Oh.
guy, man? Like he's just like ragging on me, and then I found out he was like friends with her. And then a couple days later, somebody's like, "Hey, you know that guy wants to 1v1 you?" And I was like, "What guy?" You know what I mean? I was like,
What
"I
in
don't."
the world?
It sounds like he's trying to clout chase now, you know. And
Yeah, just riding off the wave.
he was in the Navy, or he is in the Navy. So like I commented because he had I went and watched his TikTok where he said that because I suck And I was just like, come on, man. I was like, this does not look good. And he's like, what are you talking about? I was like, dude, you're active duty Navy and you're just like shitting on another, I was like, I'd expect a little bit better attitude from you. And he's like, what does this have to do with
Yeah.
the Navy? And I'm like, dude, like, have respect, man. Like, how would you feel if I just, took one of your videos and just said, like, you suck? I was like, how does that feel? And he's like, well, that, I'm not going to change and, not for the Navy and this and that. And like, and I was like, your videos are funny, but, like, that's just kind of rude. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't really make anything better,
I
So,
end up falling into that sometimes where I end up taking like hate like that to heart sometimes, and I need to quit. Like I'm petty sometimes about stuff like that. Like
yeah.
some kid recently commented on one of my what bothers me the most is when it bothers me a lot when it's a kid calling me out for like something, but it really bothers me when it's a grown adult that's making some stupid comment on my video that's like and I'll do like the most petty stuff. Like some kid commented on my TikTok and he was like, because I started off the video by saying like, I posted a fake video into a Parks and Rec Facebook group and this one got interesting. And then he commented like, this video says this video is interesting. Gets to the end, nothing was interesting. And
Yeah.
I go to his videos and I see he's got like two like really like shitty just like screenshot TikToks. And the funny thing about that is always when people leave hate comments and just say like really stupid stuff, I go to their profile and it's like the exact replica of the profile that I expected to be, where it's just like a Fortnite video of
Yeah.
recording their TV and then like just like screenshots of random stuff that doesn't make any sense. So I went to his profile and I was like, haha, man, you're so funny. Wow, these TikToks are great. And I just looking back on it, I'm like, I just fed into this kid. Is like, he's probably just what he wanted out of me. So I got to quit doing that. But
Yeah. You got to
um,
know what to give attention to for sure,
yeah, because then he ended up coming into one of my lives and he was like, you're an asshole, whatever. I don't understand why a grown man is making fun of me. And I was like, well,
Yeah.
you kind of had it coming because you're coming to me with like two like take like I if somebody's gonna like call me out like and say like something about my videos, I want them to
Yeah.
have better quality videos than me or at least something there like you gotta
Yeah. A lot of
you gotta
times they
do
have nothing.
something. I know, and it's like if you're gonna call someone out for like at least I'm making a video. Like at the end of
Yeah.
the day, I'm making something and you're not making anything, so like
Yeah.
show me what you got.
I mean, like, I had one guy get really upset because I used his comment. I joked about the M13, right, in Warzone. I don't know if you play Warzone.
I used to a
Um,
little bit, yeah.
so there was like a little time where like everybody was just pooping on the M13, but it's actually a good gun. So it was like
Yeah.
everybody's just pooping on it for no reason. And I made a TikTok where it was like I went and proposed to my girlfriend and she was like no, and I was like why not? She's like because you use an M13, and I was just like come on babe, why?
Saw
It's
that
like
one, yeah. I think I saw
and
that one.
like and so many people were like, "What are you talking about with the right attachments? It's like a laser, this and that, And like, there's one
That's a
guy,
joke.
he's like, the M13 is good. What do you mean? And this, so I made a TikTok and I was like, the M13 is good. What you mean? And then I was like, man, all I hear is I like going to the gulag, but in more words, like. And he came into my stream and was like, dude, imagine like ragging on somebody for trying to like help you like make the gun better. You know what I mean? Make the gun better
It's
and all
just
this stuff like
it's
that. And I was
just a
like, bro, it's
joke,
just a
man.
joke. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, imagine.
That's
I think I was like, imagine getting butthurt over a joke. Like,
yeah. Well, that's what the
but
same guy he came into my TikTok live and he was calling me out saying I'm a because I was talking about my wife and I remember I was showing the TikTok live like she's turning 21 in a couple weeks, so I was like I got her these really cool wine glasses that say like best dog mom ever and best cat mom ever, and he's like what I remember I looked at the chat after that and he's like what's a grown man calling out a 16-year-old for, and I was like well first of all you had it coming, secondly go get a job,
go
third
get a job.
yeah, you're 16, you can drive, go get a job. And third, it's clickbait, dude. It's the internet. That's the way it
Yeah.
works. If I don't clickbait the first 5 seconds of my video, if there's not a hook in that video to get people to want to watch, because it's a minute-long thing, the
Yeah.
algorithm needs to see people are interested in it. So if I don't go off the bat like, oh my god, this video was amazing and this video was crazy, then people aren't going to watch it. That's just the way it works. Like, there's so much content for people to choose online. Why should they choose mine? I got to show them in the first 5 seconds. This is the hit. This is the hook. Hook them in. Give them something at the 30-second mark to still keep them interested, and
Yeah.
then that's it. So I was like, explain to him like how that works and why I have to say stuff like that in the beginning. And then eventually he came back later in another one of my TikTok lives and was like, I decided I don't like you anymore. And I was like, Okay, dude, I'm not gonna affect me.
Yeah, I mean, like I definitely want to get more into the comedy stuff again because that's what I have more fun doing, you know?
Yeah.
But I mean, the family stuff, it's the holidays. I was like, now is a really good time to like focus on family stuff, you know? Like that just, you
Yeah.
know, it shows that like I'm not
Well, it does
just
well for
doing
you,
this for,
man.
huh?
It does well for you. Like those videos, I was checking out your
Yeah.
stats the other day, and like you're killing it. Like it's amazing.
Well, the thing is like I said, it comes in waves, and it's like you know, you
For sure.
try to keep that wave going for as long as you can. And this wave kind of started when I moved, and I was like, all right, we're moving. I'm getting on the road, you know. And then we were visiting my family
Yeah.
in Arizona, and then I made some G Fuel videos with my brother, and like those got like 400,000 views or something. And so then I started doing more about moving in and just keeping people updated. And I think they like seeing that like you're a real person too. Like you're not just playing video games and making TikToks. Like you're doing real life stuff too. Because I still get the comments that are like, "Go outside," you know, and it's like
I just
I
don't get why people got to be so mean. Like I think that's what bothers
because
me the most. Is like, just come on, man.
I mean I had Vision Wise on. I don't know if you know who he is. He's
No, I actually never heard of
he hasn't he stopped posting and then he started again. He's kind of been going through like patches where he doesn't post. I think he's just like demotivated. But he I forgot where I was going with that because I was explaining who he was. I
uh,
I don't know what I was getting at.
showing people you're a real person.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like I had him on it. He was talking about how he feels like it gets to a certain point where like people are like, okay, like it was cool seeing this guy kind of like grow and stuff, but now he's grown too much. And it's like I don't want to see
Yeah,
him
that's an
get that
interesting
far.
one.
You know, like there's people want to see you succeed to a certain point, and then I mean I don't know how much truth there is to that. You know, but I know he's definitely seen he's at like 2.5 million followers, and I see him trying to figure out what works
I think it
again.
died out.
What's up?
Oh, hold on. I think it froze up. Okay, we good?
Yeah, I can still see you.
Okay,
Hello,
yeah,
hello. All
your
right.
video froze on me for a second.
Okay, we're good now though.
Yeah,
But
I think
like
so.
I see him like not post for a while and then he'll post and I mean it's one of those things where he's trying to figure out how to like get the engine going again, you know?
Yeah.
And it's tough, man. It's demotivating. Um like
Yeah,
what
I think it's interesting what you're talking about with blowing up on Twitch to a certain extent and like your viewers being like, I don't like this guy anymore because he got like I feel like if you are a viewer of a Twitch streamer, like obviously at the end of the day for anybody who's pursuing Twitch as a thing, becoming it's not so much blowing up, that's not at all what I would say it is. It's like getting to the point where you have enough of a viewer base to be like, okay, I could do this thing uh consistently and
yeah.
turn it into like a career. I think for everybody at the end of the day, that's something that would be pleasing. A lot of people do it as a hobby, but if you were to look at any streamer, if their stream were to blow up overnight and all of a sudden they had 3,000 viewers, do you really
Yeah.
think they're going to choose working at their 9 to 5 or whatever they're doing over like pursuing that, especially if they're doing it as a hobby for fun? I feel
Yeah.
like most people would choose that, and like that's something that for a lot of people is just a dream. But if it were to
Yeah.
happen for your favorite Twitch streamer, just give them a pat on the back, tell them good job because they
Yeah.
must have
Well,
done
I mean,
something awesome for it.
I feel like a lot of people have this misconception that you have to be like summit level of a
Yeah,
streamer in order to be, you know, supporting yourself to actually do that full time. I
yeah,
chose to go full time with content creation and everything because that, I have different I don't make money with YouTube yet, but I do have affiliate codes. TikTok
yeah,
has definitely gotten to the point where like I could pay most of my rent with that. So like
nice.
just that but I mean that's been such a grind. Like if I had chosen to go do something else, there's no way I'd be doing that. You know what I mean? It
Yeah,
was definitely like something I had to like take a leap for. And I mean Twitch is one of those things where it's not consistent. Yeah, I mean neither is TikTok. Social media just isn't consistent. Like I said, it comes in
it's hard.
waves.
Yeah, it's a
So
hard thing to turn into a career, and that's why I feel like if you're a Twitch streamer watching the podcast, or if you're a viewer of a Twitch streamer and all of a sudden their chat gets to the point where they got a few thousand people in there and like you don't feel like you're getting the same attention anymore. I mean, you helped them get to that point. I mean, just feel proud of yourself for helping them get there and don't rag on anybody just for just for being successful. I could never imagine doing that to somebody, but don't make them feel bad, for it's not a bad thing at all to do TikTok and podcasts and YouTube and Twitch all as like a career. That's awesome. I mean, that's a lot of people are doing it nowadays, and it's a big thing that's blowing up, and people are becoming successful. And yeah, you don't need thousands of people to, if you're lucrative and you're smart and you know how to market yourself and communicate with brands, then you can very easily, do a full-time Twitch, TikTok, YouTube thing with only a couple hundred viewers, if that. Like, you
Yeah.
don't need that big of a following either.
Yeah, I mean, I moved to New Mexico because one, it's like 50% cheaper to live here than LA. Like that
Yeah,
was, the number one reason. Like my rent is literally half of what it was.
for
So
sure.
that helps with like the financial stress of like the job. Like I don't feel like I am forced to make content just because if I don't, I can't pay the bills. It's not like that anymore. So that
Yeah.
helps. But the other thing is like the film industry here is kind of getting ready to explode. Like Netflix just
Yeah.
invested $1 billion into the studios. And so that's another thing that I still want to dabble in. Like I still want to do that stuff. I just don't know if I want to do it from the same side. Like I might go audition for stuff. I might, try to be an extra, things like that. Um, so like now the joke, everybody's like, oh, like I'm gonna, because they're supposed to film like the next season of Stranger Things here in New Mexico, and it's like people are like, oh, Danny's gonna get eaten by a Demogorgon or something, like that's the joke. But like
Nice.
to me, it's like if you can do what you're happy doing, and you're able to support you and the family and stuff like that, like that. I mean, I'm definitely not gonna go buy another Mustang. And I know you saw that one. People are like, "When are you gonna, why'd you sell it?" Stuff like that. I'm like, because it was just not a. It didn't make sense to have that car. You
Yeah.
know.
When you join the military, this is what people got to understand. When you join the military, there's either two things that happen to you. One, you get married, or two, you get a Mustang, Charger, or a Camaro. It's just, I mean, those
Yeah,
are the two options, and it's 100%. If you don't do either one of those things, it's bad luck. You just
yeah. It's a
got to
rite of
do it.
passage.
Yeah.
I mean, like I always joke about that because people are like, "Oh, of course, like that's the stereotype." And it's like, yeah, but mine was paid off. Like I try to be smart about things still, but
Yeah, you always hear. I mean, and it's funny if you live in a military community. Those car salesmen, they know what
oh
they're
yeah.
doing. They
Mm-hmm.
will specifically give you a 32% APR, and
There
they know
was
it's because you're a dumbass. You're an idiot. Like you're an E2, E1, just got a basic training with basic training money because that stuff just sits in your account. You're like, I can go buy everything now.
Dude, I always talk about how there was a guy that I went to a school that's like the technical training that we go to. And there was a guy that I went to. He was one of my classmates. He had a V6 Charger, um, $36,000 loan with like an 8.5% interest. And like I'm like, dude, like what? You know what I mean? Like my car, I think it was I think it was 25,000, but I had a truck to trade in for it, stuff like that. I had money to put down. It was just a different situation. But like this guy was just paying the minimum, stuff like that. So it'd be like, yeah, that's a stereotype, but like there's still got to be smart about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like of course I want another Mustang, but I don't think it's a smart idea right now. Like I'm
it's
definitely way more conscious about my financial decisions since I decided to
I'm
get out. You know?
I'm super frugal. I'm frugal to the point where it makes my wife angry. Like I'll like be like, no, we don't need to do that this month. Even we have plenty of money for it, but it's
Yeah.
like I hate spending money on things that I don't need just because like I worked really hard to get a savings account going. And anytime I got to go in my savings account and pull money out of there to like pay for something I
Yeah. It's
don't
like, oh,
absolutely need, it feels like I get stabbed in the back.
yeah,
I'm like, oh, God. But I mean, I guess that's the reason why I'm good today and still on the
yeah,
surface in terms of like still having. I have two cars now. I ended up going ahead and getting a 2020 vehicle after
yeah.
I had a Ford Focus, and when I drove it, my wife drove it up to my AIT to live there. It ended up the radiator got a hole in it, and
Damn.
I don't even know how that happened. Yeah, it just started leaking one day, and then the engine was overheating, and then we got that fixed, and it was gonna be like a $2,000 repair, but we had some like weird um like off-brand warranty that we ended up getting, and they paid for all of it luckily. and
Yeah.
that was the point where I realized, okay, maybe I don't like Fords anymore. And then eventually the transmission just started shifting weird, and I was like, maybe it just needs a new timing belt or something, or just needs if it needs a new transmission, I'm screwed. Like that's going to be so much
Yeah.
money.
It's usually
And
worth
then
more than it is to just get a different
yeah,
car.
so then I ended up trading that in and getting a Subaru Outback, which is like my friends always call me the dad of the group because
Yeah.
I'm like only 20, but I act like this is the mature one. And I if they ever have like issues with finances or something, I have like a issue. Like I'm like the grandfather or the dad of the group, and going around. I have two golden retrievers, and I'm married, and I have a 2020 green Subaru Outback, and I just drive through the base, and they're like, "There's our dad driving around with his two golden retrievers," and you
You got
know,
two golden retrievers?
yeah,
Why
they're
don't you
super
show them
sweet.
in the videos, man? People love that stuff.
It's funny you say that. So my TikTok account has gone through two waves. So I used my name used to be Lankbank, which was
Okay.
so the reason why the my name's kind of weird. No one has really asked me ever. People call me Janky mainly, but people always forget the lanky part. And the reason why is because when I joined the military, I was 180 pounds, and I was
Yeah.
honestly kind of on like the bigger side. Um, I didn't eat very good. I mean, whenever you're dating or you're married to somebody, it's like you go out to eat a lot and you go out on dates or whatever. And my wife and I, when we were dating, we got together in 2016. We just She was in high school at the time, and I would drive out to go meet up for lunch, and we just go out to eat wherever, and we just ate a lot, and eventually I ended up gaining a lot of weight. And when I joined the military, obviously you spend two full months of basic training. It's like actually no 2.5 months, 10 weeks, and uh, I ended up dropping from 188 pounds or something like that to like 149 or something. And so I got out and I was like super skinny. Like if I post like a before and after, and I've gained a lot of that weight back now, but I was like unreasonably skinny. And so people started calling me because my last name is Lancaster, and you hear the Lank part, the Lancaster. So people called me Lank in AIT, and so eventually I named it Lank Bank, which was like a supposed to be a joke on like the term spank bank, which is like a stupid
Gotcha.
joke,
Yeah.
but um, and so I ended up naming my account Lank Bank. But when I stopped it, I ended up coming back before I started doing the streaming thing for like a weird like month or two. I ended up changing my account on TikTok, privating all my videos, and then changing my account name to Golden Man Dan, which is like dog's name is Danny, which is funny for you. He's named after you, I guess. Um, Ended up making videos, and I tried to get him to go viral on TikTok as like a viral golden retriever by putting banana peels on his head because he really likes bananas. So I'd feed him bananas. I'd call him the Banana Man Dan is basically what it was, and I'd put bananas on his head and make him do funny videos, and those never did really well. And eventually, at some point, I ended up doing the shift to changing that account back over and then doing Janky Lanky, and that's the
That's
only
what
reason
stuck.
why I came up with that name is because Jank and then Lank rhyme, and I didn't think Jank Lank sounded good, so I was like, oh, let's do Janky Lanky, and then
Yeah. I like it.
yeah, so I
It
did.
works.
I used to do uh, gold retriever TikToks at some point. Actually,
Okay.
that's what my whole account was. Funny enough.
Yeah, my sister has two golden retrievers, and we're waiting for them to have puppies so that we can go snag one. So
Nice, nice. You
yeah, they're
actually gonna
awesome
get one for
dogs.
sure?
Yeah, for sure. Just waiting.
Nice. Well, you got a name, or have you chosen a name,
Um,
or have you gonna do a gender yet?
no, well, we definitely want to get a boy, but we're definitely
Nice.
we're that type of family where we wanna wait till we see their personality and stuff before we give them a name.
No, I
Kind of see
gotcha.
how they act. Yeah.
Yeah, I I recommend I recommend getting a boy because we have so Danny was so much easier to train than our other
Yeah.
one, Finley.
That's what I
She's
hear.
just so crazy, man. Like the difference between them is night and day. Like
That's what my sister
they're
says.
golden retrievers, so they both have like very calm, like very well mannered for the most part. They're very calm. They're easygoing. They're not guard dogs at all. If you're looking for a guard dog, you golden retrievers. Unless you train them for that, they won't
Yeah.
do it. The closest thing they do to guarding me is jumping up on people when they're excited to see them. That's a habit I can't break because my friends just don't care. But um, yeah, I was able to train Danny so easily. Like he's such a fantastic dog. Like when he was a puppy, I was freelancing at the time, and I didn't have any projects. So for the first 4 months of his life or so, I would take him to a dog park every single day, like without fail. Every day for about 3 hours, we go to a dog park. So he would socialize and be able to. My main thing for him was walking off leash. So now he's at the point because of and he just got it. Like it wasn't even a hard thing for him. He was able to just pick it up, walk like on my side, and he was so good that I would let him go off and do his own thing at the dog park. And if I would leave, like I could walk back to my car, he would still be where he was at, and eventually he would actually just start looking for me. Like he wouldn't go
Yeah.
off with some stranger. I would eventually like I'd walk to my car and I'd take him like very open places, and I'd turn around, he'd just like be behind me hanging out. Like I was like, I thought you were playing with other dogs. What are you doing over here? Like he's got just such a gentle and
Very
human
loyal.
soul. Yes, yeah, without fail, and it's so good now to where I could just take him off leash, pat my thigh, like, hey, come over here, and he'll stick to me without. I never trained him to do that. He just did it. So it's like, I don't know. I have a better experience with training with the boy golden retriever, but it's the only experience I have really, because whenever we got Finley, our other one, I was at AIT all the time, and we got her actually during the end of basic training, so I wasn't even there really.
Okay. Yeah,
But
I'm right now. Our biggest focus is just getting the house, like the townhouse, clean and everything unpacked,
yeah,
and then we'll just be waiting. Um, they're both like really young, so my sister's dogs, so like they're like I don't think the female has even gone into heat for the first time yet, so we still got a
yeah.
while till. But I mean,
Are
I'm
they?
surprised how fast they pop those puppies out, man. It's like
Yeah,
10 weeks, right?
it's
Something like
quick.
that. That's
Yeah, and
crazy.
then you can take them home. I think legally you can take them home at like 8 weeks. That's
Yeah,
whenever they're like, that's a good time to take them home because they can start getting their vaccinations and they can get away from their
yeah.
mom at that point. But are they like a golden one? Because there's like golden retrievers and there's like the reddish ones and like the white ones.
Yeah, so one of them is like a full on golden retriever. The other one we think has a little bit of mix in it, but at the same time, she's a female, so it's like maybe she's just a crackhead. Like that's just how the
Yeah,
female golden retrievers are.
it's funny, man. Like I would say that some people see our so Danny, he's like one of those golden retrievers that looks like one out of like a calendar or like you look up like golden retriever stock photo, he's
Yeah,
like the epitome of every. He's got the big butt fur, he's got the huge like lion's mane. Like I'll have to send you a picture of him or something. There's one of my if you go after this, go on my TikTok, you scroll down almost to the bottom. There's one of me rocking him like a baby, like I'm holding him. He's huge compared to me. It did pretty well. It was just me rocking him to a like a orchestral rendition of WAP, and I just thought it was funny. It's me rocking my 80-pound golden retriever to sleep with during a thunderstorm, and yeah, he's just like the epitome of a golden retriever. But Finley, she looks almost like a lab, but she's 100% golden retriever. I mean, we never DNA tested it, but we've seen both of the parents because we ended up getting her off Craigslist. But she she just looks like a short-haired lab for some reason. But she's so weird because she still has like a little bit of the mane. She's
yeah,
still got the coloration. She's still got the butt fur, and it's like I don't know why, but she just looks weird.
yeah. Well, yeah, we're excited. We got two hermit crabs right now. I mean, they're weird for pets. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
one of them. So we got one, and the little man was like that it needs a friend, so we went and got another hermit crab, and this one is mean, man. It pinched my girlfriend. It's like she like refuses to hold it now, and like the other one's super chill. Like that thing will climb around you. Like it's just like a chill hermit
Damn.
crab, I guess. But like I want to get like a bearded dragon. One of my mods was like, you should get a
Yes.
bearded dragon and like name it Nacho or something. You can have the Nacho cam, So it's like
Nice.
that's something I want to do eventually because they're freaking sick, man. I'll get a little cowboy hat or something.
Yeah. You can name him
But
Frito. So you have Danny Dorito and then maybe like I don't know, you could call him Frito or some other kind of chip brand.
as long as
That'd be kind of funny.
as long as it's yeah, as long as it's Frito Lay who makes the chips, I guess it's okay.
Yeah. No, I think those are cool. We used to have a fish. We named him Gil, which is very. I mean,
Yeah,
that's just every
good
common
one.
fish name. Yeah, we got him in when I was in AIT as well. And because my wife, she was just bored all the time. I was gone a lot, so she's like, "I want to get a pet," and I was like, "We have 2 dogs," and she's like, "Well, I want another one." And I was like, "Well, we can't get a cat because that's against housing rules.
Yeah,
So we'll get a fish." So we got a fish, and we didn't end up taking them to California with us, but uh, definitely 10 out of 10. I like fish. They're quiet and they don't annoy you, and they're very easy to maintain. Well, she cleaned the tank, so I don't know much about that, but I know that all I had to
Oh,
do was look at him, and I would tap it and be like, "What's up, Gil?" And I'd leave, and he would just be happy.
that's funny. Yeah. Uh, so you make all these TikToks about TV shows and stuff. Are you really big into TV shows? Like you watch a lot of
Yeah,
TV?
I'm currently. I mean, I'm catching up on a lot of TV. I watched Mandalorian. I currently, right now, I'm watching. So I'll tell you what I'm currently watching. I'm watching Game of Thrones, which is like taking up most of my time. For some reason, I didn't get into Game of Thrones, but you're shaking your head. You not like Game of Thrones?
I binge watched like the whole entire show before the last season, and I feel like I wasted my time.
Oh no. Me and my wife were nervous. We are nervous for the
Just don't
final
watch the
season.
last
Like,
season. Just don't watch the last
yeah, just
season.
don't watch it.
It will
Just
just
watch
piss
season
you off.
7.
It was
Yeah.
like they literally just like put the writing into autopilot, and like it's like they put
Well,
it's like they took. Have you seen those videos where they have like a bot literally write a script after watching like
yes.
yeah, it's like they
Yeah,
did
yeah.
that.
Wow. Well, so what? One of my mods in my Twitch chat, I was talking about Game of Thrones because I keep talking because this is what I'm watching right now. I just tend to talk on stream about what I'm watching,
Yeah.
and he was like, "Well, we're talking about how many characters die in Game of Thrones," and I was like, "I'm really worried about some of my favorite characters." He's like, "Just listen, it's Game of Thrones. Buckle up. They're probably gonna die." I was like, "Okay, cool." And I was like, "Well, I'm also really nervous for the final season." And he was like, "Well, apparently what happened was they ran out of books, I guess, and
Yeah.
the writers of the show were just told to write to continue it, and apparently it just didn't go well. And I'm nervous. I'll probably end up watching because I like to do. At the end of the day, I really enjoy writing scripts. Like for all my TikToks, I write scripts for them. I go into Google Docs, I write a script out, I write a word. It's probably just because I was trained to do it that way, and that's just how I've always done it. So I like to look back on shows specifically and understand their shortcomings and like just what went wrong. So I think I'll probably end up watching the final season just as a way to understand why did what happened, where did they go wrong? Like, have you ever watched Community?
I watched a little bit of it. I just couldn't get into it.
Yeah, so it's definitely a weird one, but what would happen with that show, it kind of did the same thing. So in season 4, which is really like the writers of that show are fantastic. The creator Dan Harmon, he ended up leaving on season 4. He got fired, sort of, and so they passed it to a brand new group of showrunners and a brand new group of writers because all the writers left with Dan Harmon as like a statement. They're like,
Yeah.
Community is not going to be the
I
same,
thought it was like
and so
canceled or something or at
it
least that was the word for a
it did
while.
for a second. Yeah, it got canceled and then got
Somebody
put
else
over to
picked it up.
Yahoo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, Yahoo.
and season 4 was weird, and for the entirety of the show, they referred to it as the gas leak because the writing of it was so off. So because the way that Community works is there's like a lot of meta in that show with like they like to break the fourth wall a lot, but also not at the same time. And they would refer to any event that happened in season 4 because it was so bad as the gas leak year of their college experience in the community college.
Yeah.
And it was such a funny way for them to do that, but just because it was just so simple, the creator Dan Harmon ended up leaving, and then the showrunners left, and then the writers left, and they basically, like you said, it was like almost like a bot wrote it. Like it had everything that made community, but it was almost like fan fiction in a way. And it didn't have the same punchlines weren't the same, the story structure wasn't the same, and it was just like, what is going on here? It just didn't feel right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the way that what I saw online, the consensus was the last 3 seasons of Game of Thrones, they were going off the books because there was no book written yet for the next part of it, and that they were going to end it, like without the books. But what happened was right around the time that they were, I guess, writing that last season, they got picked up to write a Star Wars trilogy. And I
Oh,
mean, who isn't going to get excited about that? And it's like they totally
yeah,
just checked out. It was like they just all they cared about was that Star Wars trilogy. So then
yeah.
Game of
No,
Thrones
I'm
suffered
on
because of it.
season
But
I'm on season 6, I think, right now.
so you're
On
almost
either
done.
season 5. I'm almost there. Yeah, I won't spoil anything for anybody because I'm a very
You're
spoiler guy. Like
fine.
I
You're fine with
You
that
think
show.
so?
Yeah, it's been
Yeah.
out long enough.
I So yeah, I think I'm on. So currently, where I'm at is that Jon Snow just got revived. Is basically what happened when the lady in red does the whole like
Yeah.
magic thing. He's like, "Oh, I'm back alive again." And I first what happened was I think we're starting to get to that weird point where I'm not understanding why they're making decisions that they're making because they killed Jon Snow, and then immediately I thought, well, what? Why? He's the only thing that unites like the wildlings and Castle Black against like the White Walkers.
Yeah.
And I was like, so they this doesn't make any sense. It felt like they just killed
Yeah.
him just for shock value, and
Pretty
I was like,
much.
there was just and they did him so dirty too. Was the thing like they killed him, and it took like 2 minutes. Like this character we all know and we love, they kill him off, but then they just with zero because they brought back the Dothraki guy with magic, and he was like all fucked up. Like the whole like he
Yeah.
just
Right.
came back and he was
Yeah.
like a shell of himself.
Yeah. It
And
was
then
basically a
Jon Snow comes
vegetable.
back and he's like, yeah, he comes back and he's just like, well, everything's normal now, everything's good. And it's like, well,
What
why was he
happens?
a
Yeah. He's
Dothraki?
like, just
Yeah.
acting like he was
So
dreaming or something.
it just felt
Um.
like they killed him
Yeah.
off
There
just to
is.
like views. Like it's cool.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of stuff in that show that just they don't do anything with it. Like it seems like it's
Yeah.
important and it just there's no payoff.
Like Aaron and
So
I
it sucks.
we're so
But
annoyed right now with this whole religious cult thing going on.
oh
Like it's just feels
yeah,
like a waste of time. Like fucking
yeah,
Jesus. It's just
yeah,
not necessary.
yeah. But I mean, right now we're rewatching Breaking Bad because we live in the area now. So we're like on season 3 of that. I saw that a long time ago, and then they did that prequel series Better Call Saul. I guess the last season is about to come out. So
Then
we're
the
doing all
movie.
that, but yeah, there was El Camino, right? That movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was
I ended
really
up
good. That
It's
was good.
funny. I watched that movie, but I've never finished Breaking Bad before. I got a couple seasons in. Um, I ended up so Game of Thrones is one of the only older shows that I've been able to fully binge. I just end up losing interest at some point, and I think for Game of Thrones, I think the reason why I like it is just because I like medieval stuff. I like sword fighting, and I like watching people like with armor go into battle and huge battles and dragons and stuff. And I think that's the only reason why I've watched Game of Thrones all the way through, and because it's just such an iconic series. Like I've never watched, but I have to watch Game of Thrones. Yeah,
Yeah, I think they're
but
doing
let's
like
break
2 or
that.
3 spin-offs of Game of
Yeah,
Thrones. But I mean, I feel like it's like The Walking Dead. It's like once everybody kind of gets tired of it and they're pissed off
yeah,
about it, it's a waste of time.
yeah. It's
I don't know why they're tripling down way too late, you know.
did they do they did some spinoffs for Game of Thrones?
They're working on them. There's a
Oh,
couple
really?
down the pipeline. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta check that out then. Once I'm done, I'll definitely look into it. I'm annoyed. So the next fake TV show scene thing I'm doing is for Game of Thrones. So I had to join the Facebook groups because I joined those early. That way I can make the video and post it up and get people's reactions. The idea for this one, I mean, this one I don't feel bad talking about the ideas for the series. I don't know when this will come out, but you know the whole Starbucks cup thing that happened
Yeah.
with Game of Thrones. So basically, I'm going to go into one of the scenes and put in another beverage item that's
Yeah.
hidden in the background, like a Sonic cup or a McDonald's box or like a
Yeah.
bag of food or something,
Little
and
Happy
put it in the
Meal
background
box.
and be like, yeah, I'd be like, how has nobody noticed this before? I was watching Game of
Yeah.
Thrones and I saw this on there and I was like, what's going on? So that's the next idea is like to see if I can
That's
fool
cool.
people into thinking that there's because the whole Starbucks thing was huge and it's such a simple edit to like just put a little cup or something in the
Yeah.
background.
I think it'll definitely get people to go back and check it out. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Go watch that scene. So that's cool. I'll look forward to that one. What'd you
yeah.
think of Mandalorian?
So yeah, I watched, finished it up. I feel like this was season 2, right? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. This is
and
season 2.
it feels like it's been a while. It feels like it's been longer, but I think overall this one felt better in some
Yeah,
areas,
I would
but
say.
I feel like I feel like there was a lot of longer like there were some episodes that were so good. Like the episode with the where they brought the dude back from that heist episode, the bald guy, and then they end up
Bill Burr.
yeah, Bill Burr. They end up
Yeah,
bringing him back. And that episode, the character development was so fantastic. Like when we were watching that episode, I was like, wow, like this is amazing. But then there were some episodes that just felt very filler, and then but the episodes that were good were so good, like
Yeah.
that I just couldn't look away from the TV. Like that Bill Burr episode was one of the ones where I was like,
Yeah.
man, this was a masterpiece because he was such a terrible character in that episode with the heist. He just felt so selfish, and then they brought
Yeah.
him back, and we kind of understood where he was coming from, and the way they ended that episode was awesome. But
Yeah, I think
the
that was my favorite.
overall, yeah, for sure, that was definitely my favorite episode from the season. But the final scene, I mean, everybody had an issue with the CGI. Like it was like, oh, like that was a weird like kind of thing. It's just hard. It's hard to nail. It's really hard to
I
nail
have
in
some stuff to
space.
say about that for sure.
Yeah,
But
it's it's I will say, as a video editor, as a motion graphics designer, nailing a human face is almost impossible. It's
right.
very, very, very hard to achieve, even with millions of dollars.
Hmm.
It's because the human face has a lot of muscles that kind of interact with everything on your body. Whenever you have a person that's talking, it's just never gonna look right. It's hard. Like it's
Right.
very, very hard. Like, and I will say that with the amount of budget that Star Wars has, they probably could have done a better job with it. They definitely could have, but I guess in their defense, it's very hard to nail a human face.
Well, have you seen all the TikToks where people do deep fakes and it looks better?
Yes, yeah, that is interesting. So I wonder why they just didn't use deepfake technology to begin with. Because if they, what I think I would have done, it would have saved them a lot of money. Maybe they just don't have like the rights to use it in a studio production. I don't know, but if you were to just cast somebody that looks very like same face shape, same hair color, same kind of eye shape, eyebrows, you probably could have just had him do all the lines and then deep faked the actor's face over it,
And then
and it probably
brush
would have
that
been
up with CGI. You know what I'm
better.
saying? Like
Yeah,
CGI is supposed to be like an after effect, you know what I mean? And it's like when it's the main thing, like, you know, they do a whole face with it. It's just it sticks out like a sore thumb. For me, it kind of distracted. It didn't ruin the moment, but it almost did. I just kept thinking like, ah, dude, it just like it looks like a clay person, you know?
I know, no, for
But
sure. I 100% noticed off the bat. So I feel like I watched all the new Star Wars movies, all the Disney ones. I've watched all of the Mandalorian, but I didn't actually watch the older Star Wars just because when I grew up, I just wasn't interested in it. Like I didn't watch Harry Potter, I didn't watch Lord of the Rings, I didn't watch Star Wars. I was a cartoon and like I liked shorter series
yeah.
on TV, and I just didn't end up watching those. But um I didn't fully realize that it was him towards the end. I just didn't know where they were going with it. And then when I did realize it, I was like, I took for a second, and I realized, okay, wait, this is CGI. And Erin didn't notice because she's just not a huge Star Wars fan. She just likes the Mandalorian. And I was like, oh my god, it's the scene kept going on and on and on. I was like, this looks so unnatural. And I did realize that it was CGI, just from a technical standpoint. But then I was like, like I definitely noticed that it was fake, and it was so off putting. But then I guess I thought to myself, I was like, there's no way I could have even done that as a video editor who does this thing
Yeah.
full time.
Well,
But
my issue is that they had casted Sebastian Stan like a couple months or at least a month or something like that before that. I don't know why they didn't just reshoot him and put him in the thing because he's supposed to play Luke now in the next season.
oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, I see that.
And yeah, if you see the side by side pictures, it looks he looks perfect. Like I don't know why they did. Like I was totally expecting when that hood came off, it was going to be Sebastian Stan. I know a lot of other people were too. So when all of a
That
sudden it's this CGI Luke character, it was like, oh, bro,
I
you
guess they
know.
wanted to keep it canon. I guess I don't know. Maybe they wanted to tie it into the older storylines.
But it still doesn't make sense because if they're supposed to show him as Sebastian Stan next season, he's not going to look the same. Like he will, but he
Oh,
won't
so
unless they're going to deep
he's
fake it.
gonna be casted to play in season 3 as Luke. Oh, then that makes no fucking sense.
Why
Why
didn't they
did
use
they
him?
not?
Yeah, you get the
Yeah, what?
frustration now. It's like, come on, man. They could like literally.
Yeah,
I've seen so
wow.
many projects where like a month before it comes out, they get a team together. Like, all right, we got to reshoot this one little scene because now we have this actor, and they make it work. And it's like
Crazy.
that. Yeah, it would have been more money, and it would have like like oh no, more money for Disney. It's like they got plenty of money. It's not a big
Yeah.
deal, and it would have been worth
Oh
it.
my
I
god.
think. You know,
Yeah.
because
No,
I'm
that's
sure there was some Disney executives that were like like just waiting to see what people's reactions were on like Twitter, because I know Twitter was just like talking about Luke. You know, they're like, "Oh,
It
bro,
blew it up, though, to be fair, yeah, if they were thinking about it from a marketing perspective, that whole deal blew up because it was such a weird scene, but now that you're explaining that they already have casted a character for I thought you just meant for, like, the future Star Wars movies, but
no,
for
it's no."
Mandalorian exclusively, that's crazy that they didn't just do that. That's
Yeah,
insane.
and it's seriously though, look it up, and I'm like, dude, they couldn't pick anybody else better to that looks close enough to Luke to where like they just give him the right
Have
haircut.
you seen the have you seen the Uncharted movie? The stuff for going on with that?
Yeah, I dude, those video game movies, I don't even care until it comes out. Like I don't want to give myself expectations, you know, because it's
What
they
did you think
still
about
have not.
the casting decision for Tom Holland?
I mean, we'll see what happens. You know, like I'll wait till the because who else is with him? Is it Chris Pratt or something? Somebody else is in it.
Somebody they casted a guy who looks they probably in my opinion they I don't know. This is where they're taking it. So it's supposed to be like a prequel, I guess,
Yeah,
because it's supposed to be young Nathan Drake. And I when I played Uncharted 4, that was the most least interesting part of the game was the flashbacks to young Nathan Drake. I am a sucker for like the first Uncharted game
I've only played
because
the
I
first one.
got you only played the first one?
Yeah, and it was fantastic. I think I tried to play the second one, and it didn't have the same magic for
Yeah,
me.
I played all of them. It's probably in my top 5 video game IPs of all time. The first one I got for Christmas when I was a kid, I remember I was like throwing up on Christmas. It was like the week before Christmas. I was had like a terrible
Hang on a
some
second.
weird.
So you were talking about Uncharted.
Yes, yes, yeah. Uncharted is probably I think it's probably my top 5 video game IPs, but I guess I was just disappointed whenever I saw that they were going for a prequel. Like there was
Yeah,
just so much I mean, I'm just a sucker for the first game because I got it when I was a kid, and I have such fond memories of it. And the first game has such a perfect setup for a movie. Like they go to this, he finds this reporter, and that's like the love interest, and then they go on this crazy boat ride together because she's a reporter, but she's not an adventurer, but he is. And then they go on this boat, they get attacked by pirates, and then they
yeah,
go looking for Nathan Drake's lost treasure, and then they find the treasure. There's the love moments, and then they introduce Sully. The first game has the perfect setup for a movie, and I don't think that they should copy it exactly, but it's just such a good story. And then for Uncharted 4, the final one, they have these segments where you go back in time as Nathan Drake as a kid, and
yeah,
it's mainly just like a lot of like storytelling, and it's not that interesting because Nathan Drake's character hasn't fully developed yet, and it's just kind of him being like an annoying thief. And but as an adult, Nathan Drake plays this annoying thief, but that's also sarcastic and funny. And I mean, Tom Holland will nail that part because he's a great Spider-Man.
yeah,
But it's I don't know, I was just disappointed. I don't know. I hope that they end up revising that and then maybe looking at like Nathan Fillion as like a potential Nathan Drake for a full adult Nathan Drake movie. I think that would be cool.
yeah. We'll see what happens. Like it just video game movies. They never get them right, man.
It's
I think like
just it's
Tomb
just where they
Raider.
put their money at. I think a lot of the time they try to like Nintendo tried it with their shows, and they just try to keep it too in house, I think, and
Yeah.
they weren't fully understanding of like television culture and media
Hmm.
culture aside from video games. So they just make the wrong executive decisions and they gave it to the wrong people. But Sony, i- they have Sony on their side. I think that's a big thing for Uncharted is like Sony's already a huge producer.
Yeah, I still Sony for me is hit or miss. Like that Venom movie was awful. I don't know. I
Yeah,
didn't
I
like it
actually
at all.
watched it for some reason. I don't know. I just wasn't. It just I do. I guess I didn't find it interesting. I don't know.
It was
It looked
super
kind of strange.
cheesy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, you know,
I
at
don't
the
know.
end it's just like CGI monsters fighting each other. You know? It's
Yeah,
like
yeah. But I guess if we're talking about video game movies specifically, since Sony owns Uncharted, maybe they'll just use the people that made the new Spider-Man movies because they have Tom Holland already there. Maybe they'll just reuse some of the same producers and directors, and maybe we'll get something good. I don't know. I haven't looked enough into it.
and it would be cool. I think Tomb Raider was like the last big video game movie, right? And everybody was like, it was all right. Like
Yeah,
that it
they were
seems like
not
they're
very
all right at
memorable.
best, you
Yeah,
know.
I can't even remember what happened in the Tomb Raider movies. I know that they happened, and I watched all of them in theaters, but they weren't that interesting.
Well, the newest one was basically just a bunch of scenes from like the newer Tomb Raider trilogy, you know,
Yeah,
just put into a movie, into like one
yeah.
story.
I guess in a way, that's what a lot of people, when they're hoping for a video game movie, that's what they're hoping for. Like, I've always pushed for Zelda to be a movie friend. Like, Zelda's my favorite IP, and I feel like there should just be a movie, a Zelda movie. They should just take one of the games, Ocarina of Time, turn it into a movie, throw a bunch of money at it, make it good, get people that are passionate about it on there. I think it would absolutely kill. Like, it's just, I mean, I'm such a sucker for Zelda anyways, so I'd probably
Yeah,
just end up watching it just because I love it. But um, and there's so many video games that could do well as movies, but I know somewhere along the lines, because like this video game company holds the rights to it, they would end up screwing something up along the way and not giving it to the right producers, or trying to manhandle it in house for some reason and being like,
yeah,
no, we don't want those people working on it because of this or that, and then it would just end up flopping. And I think that's what happens a lot of the time with video game movies.
yeah. Unfortunately, it's just too many people trying to. I feel like it's too many people have different visions, and then there's also the people who have actually like. I feel like there's too many people in Hollywood that play a game or they read a book or they do something just because they're making that movie,
Yeah.
and not enough people that like actually like it before it's a movie. You know what I mean? And it's like
Yeah,
you
and
need
then
the
you have
people
to
who,
appeal to the fans, you like the hardcore fans that are like into the lore and understand like the universe. Like, if you're just picking it up for the first time a month ago, you're just not going to have that same connection to the series that the fans do. It just won't happen. And I
yeah,
think that it's so easy to see, like, when they understand like kind of like the tropes and like the kind of staples of the game, but then they end up using it in a way that's cheesy and just pisses people off.
yeah. Well, I like to be before we end it. I like to always ask about something either like because ankle banger got me down this road. Either something kind of like conspiracy related or something crazy going on in the news, and obviously something that just happened was the Nashville bombing.
Yes.
How much have you looked into that?
Not very. I mean, I really only know that it happened, and that fortunately, I believe nobody was killed. Right? It was
Yeah,
people got injured, but they were still walking away, and everything was good. But that's all I know.
yeah, it's definitely a weird situation, man. They don't. It seems like they have no idea what the motive was. Now they're saying that they think that the person who did it was actually in the RV and
Hmm.
and perished with that explosion. So they're like the one
They have
casualty.
been able to find remains of
I
some
don't know. I
kind.
didn't. I didn't look into too much. It's just so that they believe that the person perished, and that they were looking at some people of interest, I believe. Um,
Okay.
but it's just weird because like they're wondering if it was like a specific attack on AT&T because it was the AT&T building that it was next to, or stuff like
Like,
that. I saw.
they probably could have chosen a bigger hotspot other than just like to blow up this one random spot.
Well, the RV was playing a message before it blew up, right? You saw that.
No,
So the
no, I didn't
RV
see that.
was the RV was actually playing on a loudspeaker. If you're in this area, get away, evacuate. Like,
What?
yeah, dude, it's
That's crazy.
yeah.
So
So everybody's like, what is like? They obviously weren't trying to hurt people, you know?
maybe here's what I'll say it is. It's a YouTuber who is trying to get verified. He hasn't been verified yet, but he needs to get himself into a news article, right? That's what he thought. I need to get into a news article to get verified. So he thought, what better way to get into the news than to blow some shit up? And that's what he did. As he didn't want to hurt
Yeah.
anybody, but
I
maybe
mean,
Jake Paul's new video coming out. I don't know.
I saw that'd be messed up. I saw I saw some TikTok videos of people like reversing the audio that it's playing on the loudspeaker, and it says like the like this is just the beginning, something else is coming, and like Merry Christmas because it happened on Christmas. And I don't know how true
Yeah,
that shit is, because people make stuff,
no,
but
I think it's a publicity stunt.
I don't know, man, because there's that would be going pretty far for a publicity stunt. Like people could have gotten
Seriously,
hurt, or people did
yeah.
get hurt. So
people got hurt, and I mean that's tons of property damage.
Yeah, a
But
building got basically destroyed.
I know, and we're talking about, we're in a day and age where the internet is about shock, right? The internet's about shocking
Yeah,
people. It's you got to do the next biggest and better thing. And I honestly, if they still can't figure out the motive, and if somebody did die within the vehicle, then that totally for me eliminates that
changes things.
possibility.
Yeah, but
But if I had one conspiracy about it, then that would be, I feel like it maybe will come out in a few months that like some teenager, some crazy teenager did it for like publicity and got his hands on like some sort of bomb and then did it, and you know. So I don't know.
yeah,
Maybe that could be it.
if that was what happened, if that's what happened, I'm pretty sure that person's gonna get arrested. You know what I mean? Like that's
Oh,
not.
oh yeah.
Yeah, that's
It always ends up coming back on them. People have done that
yeah.
before where they just completely go crazy like for views and just for like attention. And
That's
I
what
mean,
it's
we've
come
seen it.
to.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly where the kind of mentality behind mass shootings and people intentionally going out of their way to harm people is just, sometimes it's just because they need attention,
I
and
mean,
they
why can't they just be like Logan or Jake Paul and just like start throwing, like start a fire in their pool and start throwing stuff into it? Why they gotta
I
blow up a
know,
building?
yeah. Well, like, yeah, it's just not shocking enough, People,
Yeah,
it's always, we live in the day and age of the internet where it's just about shock value. How do you shock the next person? So I don't know. Maybe I'll call it out here. Maybe that was the motive. Was they don't have a
yeah, we'll
motive yet?
see.
Maybe we'll look back on this podcast in a couple of months and be like, holy shit.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. What about the
Yeah.
monoliths? Have you looked into that at all?
Yeah, that's funny that the monoliths were kind of near where I'm at.
Yeah, there was one
Yeah,
here.
yeah, it's kind of in the area, in the desertish part where I live at, but I never ended up seeing them. But what I think that is I think that that's just an art project. I think that's
Yeah,
honestly what it is. I think it's just supposed to be kind of like Stonehaven in a way, like maybe inspiration off of that. I think it's a very, very cool art project at the end of the day.
yeah. It's just it's boggling to me that if it's an art project, they were able to do it the way they are because they've been popping up all over the world. You know.
Yeah, it's well, the reason why I say that is because I saw this thing about it where a chick had a firsthand story with photos about, it could have been faked. It could have very easily been faked. But she took this video and these photos of these a big group of guys that came, maybe not a big group of guys, maybe four to six people that came by, and she was like, "Hey, what's going on?" And they're like, "We're taking the monolith." And then she's like, "What?" And they pick it up and they're like, "Yeah, we're just moving it." And I was like, "Okay, well, that just makes sense." There's just a group of guys that go around and they travel and they drop down. Maybe there's a network of people that go around and they
Yeah.
drop monoliths off.
I just the thing with that is like I feel like that's my issue with like UFO stuff too. Is like somebody would have talked by now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And I feel like that's the thing with this monolith thing is like somebody would have been like, "Oh yeah, it's just some dumb art project we're doing." You know, like somebody would have slipped up and said something.
yeah. They might just be super
Because
good about it. Hey, hush, hush. I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. That'd be interesting. Some people say that like it's copycats. Like there's people doing it everywhere because they think it's cool.
I could see that too. I could see it as starting as the first one that popped up was supposed to be kind of a cool, like the guy, maybe one or two people did it. They dropped it off. They're like, let's just not say anything, because I think I honestly, for me, I think that that's cooler than taking credit for it. Like
Yeah.
there's at that point, like it's a famous thing. Like maybe who's that super famous artist who like makes like, I can't remember his name. He's like he had that art project where when it got sold at the auction, it blew up. Like the actual art piece itself got destroyed.
Like he
Can't remember
sold
his name.
it and then they blew it up.
Yeah, he made a
The hell?
specific painting, and the painting eventually got put to auction. And something ended up happening to where when it sold, the art project itself destroyed itself. It like completely. I don't remember if it blew up or something happened, but it was supposed to be artsy because he made a piece of art that, if it ever sold for profit, would just destroy itself.
And
So
so the guy who
I can't
bought it's
remember.
like, "What the come
Oh,
on,
I'm
man."
sure. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I think he ended up putting it up, or so. I can't remember the exact story, but maybe it's something like that. Like that guy, maybe it's one of his next big art things that he'll eventually come out for at
Yeah,
some
I
point.
mean, there's TikToks going around saying that there's something supposed to be said about it on the first,
Hmm.
so we'll see.
Yeah, I don't
I just
know.
thought it was interesting that like so many people were talking about how people are dismantling them. Like the one that was here in Albuquerque was at a like REI, like right outside the parking lot.
Hmm.
And I guess some people showed up like in the middle of the night and just like with sledgehammers
Oh,
and
of
stuff
course.
just beat the shit out of it. So like
Yeah, that's that. I mean, the people are gonna try to. I just that just confuses me. I mean, I'm not the type of person that likes to do that kind of stuff. I mean, again, just shock. Just people get bored. They have nothing else to do. It's quarantine time.
yeah.
People are bored. Just why not go ruin somebody else's stuff? I guess ruin everybody else's fun. Why not? I mean, it gives you the most joy out of that whole experience, I guess.
Yeah. So I guess we'll see what happens with that,
Yeah.
or if anything comes of it. I don't know if they're still popping up or not. I haven't
I
checked
haven't
in.
been following it close
Yeah.
enough, but I mean, at the end of the day, I guess my if we're talking about conspiracies, my guess would be that it's just an art project, and
Yeah. Same here.
uh, it's gotten so blown up and saturated that probably people are just putting a bunch of them down, and then hoping for them to go viral on the internet because they can say to their friends, "Haha, I did that," and
Yeah.
start off as one or two, and then now it's just a bunch. It's just
I
not.
mean, when the first couple showed up, people thought it was like aliens dropping them off or something as like a
Yeah,
sign.
and everybody wants to believe that. I 100% believe that aliens exist, but I think that they would probably not just show up and then fuck with us slowly. They'd probably just show up and be like, "What's up, bro?" And they wouldn't look green or anything. They'd probably just aliens in my head just look like a human beings with like a slightly different pigment, but they'd just be like, "What's
Yeah.
up?" Not just dropping off random Stonehaven shit or Stonehenge shit and you know.
Yeah. Well,
I couldn't see it.
yeah, we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah.
I've definitely been into like the alien UFO stuff with more of the videos coming out, you know.
Yeah. Did you see the Yes Theory video about the UFOs? I don't know if
No,
you
what's
watch Yes
that?
Theory. It's Yes Theory is like a group of people, and their whole point of their YouTube channel is to like get out of their comfort zone. And I didn't end up finishing it, but they did like a 30-minute episode about basically they watched this series on Netflix about these UFO sightings in this small town in Kansas or something like that. It was a small town in a kind of rural state. What was interesting about it is that in this small area of about an hour's length apart, there was like 11 different sightings of a UFO, and they were all of their stories were the same. They all had the exact same description of what they saw. It was all within an hour of the time they said they saw it was all within an hour span, and none of the people knew each other. And so that's what made it super good. And it was from a very long time ago. I think it was from like the 60s.
Oh,
Yes
okay.
Theory, they ended up going out and interviewing these people. They basically continuing the episode and going and getting a firsthand account from all of the people. And it seemed like a really cool video. It just ended up not finishing it for some reason. But
Huh.
if you're
I have to
interested in
check that out.
UFOs, kind of a cool one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely one of those people who thinks like, because the government, or at least the Pentagon, has been declassifying stuff a little bit. You know, like the Nimitz videos and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I'm really into Joe Rogan too, so like he's had these people on and like interviewed them, like the pilot who was there and stuff like that. And
it's definitely a thing. It's if you think aliens are not real, or and when you talk about aliens, it's just life that exists off of Earth. It's not
yeah,
essentially
it's
like
not like some crazy thing. Like,
yeah, some green dude with like we come in peace type shit. Not
yeah,
that. Like
I mean,
aliens can be any living life off of Earth.
yeah, I'm not like, oh yeah, like so and so says he got abducted. Like he totally got anal probes. Like I'm not talking
Yeah.
about that. You know what I mean? Like that's
No.
a little far fetched. But I mean, it, the I can't remember who it was. Somebody, I don't know if it was the Pentagon who said it or some guy who was a part of the program. That's where see it gets into the he said she said. But they had
Yes. Yeah.
basically said that yes, we have off-world vehicles, and then so like Bob Lazar, you know his whole story and stuff like that. I don't know if you know who Bob Lazar is.
No.
He's a guy who said he worked at Area 51, and
Okay.
basically he was afraid that they were going to kill him, so he came out and like said that yeah, I was working on this. We were trying to reverse engineer spacecraft, and like he talked about like an element 115 before it was a thing, and then it became a thing, and stuff like there's just little things. He even said like they recorded it too. He said, "I know where they do the test flights." And then they, go out in the middle of the desert, and then all of a sudden here you see these lights flying around and stuff, and it's just like,
Dang.
you know, or
Yeah.
like there was a biometric, like I guess there was some kind of, it was like, crazy state of the art at the time, where it would scan your hand, and based off the bone lengths and stuff like that in your hand, it would know that it's you. So it was like another way to like, you know, it was another form of biometric security, and they actually
That's a
found one of
cool.
them.
That's a cool thing that
Yeah,
I've
but they
never
actually
heard
found
that
one.
before.
So
Nice. Well, yeah,
his
I
yeah,
think that it exists, man. You think about how many galaxies, how many universes exist.
yeah.
Like just there. It's. I feel like it's statistically impossible. Like if you think that life is just set to this planet and just this planet only, that's just like a small way of thinking. Like
Yeah.
and aliens could be something as simple as like crazy like small bacteria that live on some random planet in some random galaxy. Like that is alien. That
Yeah.
qualifies as alien life form. So
Yeah, it's
it's
definitely fun to think about. It's
yeah,
not
for sure.
yeah.
And
It's
maybe it's not as like Hollywood as you would think it is. Like there's an
yeah.
entire civilization of like people out there, but if there were, to be fair, there's no way we could communicate with them. We've never been that far out aside from just like
Yeah.
little pictures.
Well, Elon Musk says that his theory is that if the aliens are coming here and stuff like that, it's not aliens, it's like artificial intelligence or robots, or like it would be like sending a drone instead of sending ourselves.
Yeah. I mean,
Um
why would they all want to come here for what
yeah.
reason? Like,
Yeah, and I
it
mean,
would
people who are saying like, "Oh yeah, I saw this alien," he talked to me and stuff like that. It's like, well, that's assuming that they can breathe our air and stuff like that. It's like it's
speak
just
our language
so
off the
much to
bat.
it.
Like
Yeah. Well, there
everything's
was
man-made.
I had listened to part of a Joe Rogan episode where he talked to some people who investigated a case in like Zimbabwe or something, where there was a this is getting way off into the weeds, but
Yeah.
um he apparently back in it was like the 60s or something, right? There was a bunch of kids at a school, and like this UFO landed at a playground, and it like they say that they communicated with them like telepathically, right? Like that was their way of communicating, and that all they were saying is that we're gonna destroy our planet, like that we have to find a different way to like it was totally like
Well, they've been waiting
global
a
warming
while.
type stuff. But
Yeah.
I don't
They've
know,
been waiting
man.
a long time
It's
for it.
I haven't watched the documentary on it, but they talked about it, and it was like when they talked to all of them, it was very emotional the way they talked about it. It was like one of those things that happens to you that like it just affects your whole life
Yeah,
and thought
it's hard
process,
because there's
because they
so
were
many
just kids when it happened
accountings.
too.
Yeah,
You
it's
know?
crazy that there's just so many different accountings of crazy incidents like that happen. It's cool and it's interesting, but at the same time, it just as they happen, it increasingly makes each previous one less validated because it's
Yeah,
like that sounds crazy, that sounds crazy, that sounds crazy, and it's hard to believe. I mean, for me, I
yeah,
do believe that aliens exist, but I would need to see it firsthand, just to
yeah. I think
fully
that's how a
believe
lot of
it.
people feel about it. They're like, until I see something, I'm just take everything
Yeah.
with a grain of salt.
I like it's definitely I feel like statistically it's more likely than not,
Yeah,
but the statistics of it being like, Hollywood like abduction type aliens to me seems lower than like I said of it just being like there being smaller life forms, maybe even like animals or
yeah,
crazy like space creatures in a way or just
yeah.
bacteria.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
there's a famous I can't remember the scientist's name. You might have heard the quote where it's like that. There's two possibilities: is that there's a ton of life out there, or we're alone, and that either like both of those are equally terrifying.
yes.
So that's something that always, yeah, it's one of those things that's fun to think about, but
It
we'll
definitely is
see.
really fun to think about. I love that. Like just
Yeah,
I could talk about life forms and aliens and because it just interests me. Like
yeah,
I
it's
I
fun.
if I was like 70 years old and they said some random government project was like, you're kind of old, but at the same time we're looking for a volunteer to like go out to space and with the mission of never returning. Like your whole goal is to go out there and document stuff with pictures, and we have the technology to like send you out to different galaxies, like Star Wars type shit. Like I would just be like, yes, 100%.
You're the
I will
opposite of
do it.
me. I'm like, hell
I
no, find somebody else, man.
no, I would all day. Like, assuming like my kids have already moved out and like
Space
my
terrifies me.
Aaron, maybe Aaron could come with me. My wife wants to come with me. That would be better. We just go together, man. Like, and then whenever my kids are like, "What happened to your parents?" They're like, "They went out on some space adventure and never came back." Like, that'd be the
Yeah.
coolest story.
Yeah, I mean, it would definitely be historical and everything. But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I mean, ever since I seen like Interstellar, I saw have you seen First Man? The one with Ryan Gosling
No,
playing Neil Armstrong?
I haven't seen. I've seen Interstellar, but I haven't seen that
S-
one.
First Man it's so depressing, bro. It just
Yeah,
I left that movie, I was like, I never want to go to space.
yeah.
It does not look like fun at all.
There's a whole issue with the time going a lot faster
In
in
Interstellar, yeah.
yeah in space. That's kind of I don't know if that's how real that is, but
I think Interstellar. I think Neil deGrasse Tyson has talked about it a lot. He said that whole movie is scientifically accurate up until the ending.
okay.
So, like, there's a few things like hair floating and things like that movies always mess up. But he was like the science behind how time works and all that stuff and the different dimensions and black holes and stuff like that. He's like that's probably the best thing we have as far as like representation
Just
for it.
so interested in that stuff. Like I said, if I was ever told by the government that I could go out to space with a mission of just like exploring other planets and never coming back, I'd do it in a heartbeat. Like as long as I was older, I want to live my life first. But then I'd rather die like that than die in like just a relaxing, normal way.
Yeah,
I'd rather get shot
maybe
at by lasers and
maybe you should
die by
transfer over to
aliens.
the Space Force.
I know, right? Whenever that becomes available, they're already putting out ads for it. It's a thing. There's a
Yeah, I
real
mean they're definitely recruiting pilots and stuff. I know that.
Yeah, there's a
So
website, and I was on Twitter, and I got a space. I hate when I get recruitment ads for the military. I'm like, already,
yeah.
like, leave me alone, dude. I already did it. Leave me.
Well, I mean,
I'm chilling.
last night I posted the thing about the Mustang, and like a bunch of comments were like, "Oh, I didn't know you were in the military," but then there was people who were like, "Oh, the Coast Guard's not military," and like some Navy guy started arguing with me about it, and he was like, "It's not a military branch." I was like, "Yes, it is. Like, it's one of
It
the
literally,
six with the Space
I
Force."
went to school with Coast Guardsmen. Like, I
Yeah,
literally in a military. You can look it up. It's a real school, the Defense Information School. It's in Fort Meade, Maryland. It's an accredited military institution, and every branch of the military, including Coast Guard, go there. So that
yeah.
doesn't make
No,
any
he
sense.
says we just wear a uniform when the command says we have to, type of stuff, and I'm like, no, I wore a uniform every day. Like,
Yeah,
it's it may not
it's
be as like I'm not going to Iraq and stuff, but like
yeah. It,
I
if here's what I'll say though, as an Army service member, I would if I was given an opportunity right now and they said, "Do you want to join the Coast Guard and do your job there?" I'd be like, "Yes, yep." So, boom, button, hit. I'm good. Yes, any day.
yeah
Like,
he was comparing. He said the Coast Guard is like the health corps, like the health services corps, where they have like the 8,000 surgeons or whatever, that they. And I'm
yeah,
like,
no,
no,
it's
dude, it's like
definitely not as. It's not as like it's just less documented. Like the Coast Guard's just sort of
yeah,
a weird branch,
we
and
are like the redheaded stepchild of the
yeah,
military, like for
it's
real.
literally just there's not like you guys have like super cool uniform. I will say I like the Coast Guard uniform. It's just it's simple. It's not camo. It's just like watercolor.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know if you guys have different variations because like in Army we have a couple different variations and the
right.
Marines have different
Yeah,
variations,
no, we
but
just have the
the
one
one
blue
blue
one.
one.
Yeah, which has
Then
changed several times. Like right now
yeah.
they have some version. When I was getting out, they were complaining that like they look like maternity uniforms or something.
When
So
I was in AIT with Coast Guardsmen, they were wearing a deep navy blue one,
yeah,
and I knew that since I had two golden retrievers, I would suffer, but with that uniform and like dog hair being on it all the time, I'll get hemmed up all the time just for being like having hair everywhere.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, I was in Airedale, so like I never had to wear like a cap or anything. Like I never. Like I would have to go wear it when I went to like a different base, and it was like, oh man, I gotta mess up my hair.
Yeah, that's
But
military hats. Those are something it's pretty cool with our job, with our unit specifically. We wear baseball hats with our
yeah,
uniform.
us too.
Like,
Yeah,
Yeah, nice. Yeah, we also have like the patrol caps, which are like the
The flat build
very
ones, like
flat build. They're
yeah,
very tight on your head. Those ones suck, but at least when we're in our office and we're out in the field, we can wear the baseball caps with like a little vulture logo on the front, and those are so much more comfortable. And I
yeah, I
wish that
bet.
we were able to just, and they look way cooler in uniform too. So I wish we were able to just wear those full time, but maybe we'll get maybe somewhere down the line, some sergeant major of the army will be like, let's just do baseball hats instead. If I was a sergeant major of the army, that'd be my first decree as king or whatever. I'd be like, baseball hats for all, because those look way cooler.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I told the guy finally, I just stopped arguing with him. I was just like, you know what, man? I was like, you can look it up. It's a simple Google search. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna try and keep arguing. I was like, thank you for your
Is
service though,
Coast
because
Guard a
he's
branch?
Navy. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
It's
I just
the Coast Guard gets shit for just existing. Like
yeah, for
it's
real.
interesting dynamic. Like
I mean and I also mentioned to him, I was like, I'm not whining about it. It's a common misconception that is part of the reason why we're so underfunded. The Coast Guard, like I have a helicopter right here, the orange one. Like I
yeah,
just think you saw the picture. Um, those helicopters are from the 80s. I mean, we still use them. Like it was literally built in the 80s, and we just keep like, you know, cleaning them up and using them again. And like they break all the time, you know. The boat I was stationed on is from the 60s. The AC always broke when we were going down south by like Panama, where it's hot as hell,
yeah.
stuff like that. And it's just like,
It
yeah, I mean,
needs more recognition. I mean,
yeah,
who walks into a recruiter's office really and is like the first option's Coast Guard? It's usually like the big four, Navy.
yeah,
I feel like it's usually the big three. I think people don't really even consider the Navy as much as they consider Air Force,
yeah.
Army, Marines.
Dude, when I went to MEPS, the recruiter that handled my stuff at MEPS literally showed up like everybody was like, "Yeah, just wait right there. I guess he'll show up at some point." And he showed up for like 30 minutes and then left. Like he just showed up, made some coffee. He was like, "You got all your stuff together?" Yeah, and he's like, "All right, like, if you need anything, just talk to this guy. He's cool." And it was some
Yeah.
it's always the army guy. The army's like I feel like the army's like the chillest one besides the Coast Guard. They never really like start shit. But
Yeah, the it depends on who you work with. I like my job. I actually, speaking of MEPS, it's kind of a funny story. I almost lost my job in MEPS because um, if you have to take that depth perception test
yeah.
where you have like the circles and then
Yeah.
there's one that's kind of out of focus, I failed that test off the bat because I didn't. They were pushing me through really fast, and my MOS strictly required that I passed that test. And I don't know if it works the same way in the Coast Guard, but in the Army, you reserve your job. So I had already reserved the MOS, but it was contingent on me passing everything in MEPS, with the specific thing being the depth perception test. And I failed it and was super upset the whole day because I had waited for this job to kind of come around and I got it, and then I failed that test. And eventually, so I have like a phobia with blood draws. Like I'm very, very bad with getting my blood drawn. Um, and I was getting the blood draw, and it's always for me when I get up there, it's always drama, dude. Because like they can see it in my face when I show up because I get really pale and I start to shake a little bit, and I get like nauseous, and I tell them like I'll probably pass out when you do this, and they were talking to me, and they said, well, what MOS did you go for? And I said, well, I got 25 Victor, which is combat camera, but I failed that depth perception test. And the lady that did my blood draw was also the one who did the depth perception test. And she was like, well, I know it was chaotic in there, so let me give you another shot. You seem like you're a good guy. And I was like I just started like kind of like to tear up a little bit. I was like, fuck, thank you so much. Like, this is crazy. Like, if I don't do this, or I'm gonna do like artillery or like fucking infantry or some shit I don't want to
Something you
do.
don't want to do, yeah.
Yeah, and so I go back over there, and I put your eyes up to the machine, and it's almost like when you look at like the balloon or whatever at the eye doctor's office, it's kind of like how I'd equivalent to that. And there's like a bunch of circles, and I point out the one, and this lady was so nice, man. Like, she probably, if I named her, because so I look in, and then I say which one I think it is, and she goes, "Are you sure about that?" And I was like, "No." And she was like, "Try again." And I was like, "Okay." And I
Oh,
look,
she
and
hooked you up, man.
yeah, then I'm starting to
Yeah.
see it, and I'm like, okay, that one. And so then eventually we go, and I get to the next one. She's like, "Are you sure about that?" And I'm like, "Okay." I look again, and I do it because I have astigmatism in both eyes, so
Oh, okay.
it's really hard for me to focus, especially with glasses. It's really hard for me to focus on one thing. I have an issue where like just my focus completely goes out and everything's blurry, so I can't. It was really hard, but I failed pretty much every single one again. But then she directed me to the right answer, and that's the reason why I have my MOS today is because this very kind, wonderful lady at MEPS, helped me finish the depth perception test, even though I completely sucked at it. She'd probably lose her job if I named her, but yeah, very cool. Thank you.
Yeah. When I was getting out, there was a lot of people who were told that they might not be able to fly because there was a lady over in, I think, Alameda, which is across from, it's like across the Bay Bridge.
Yeah,
Um, they what's it called? They kept getting failed with this depth perception test, and like after so many tries, they're just like, yeah, like you don't have it, and so like,
garbage, man. That test
cause
doesn't mean anything.
yeah, but I mean, their argument was, with search and rescue, in the middle of the night, you have to be able to see shit, and then like when you're hoisting, like I don't. It's for me. I'm like it's such a joke because once you get like 50 feet up in the air, your depth perception's gone. You can't see how close that is to the water
Yeah,
and shit. Like yeah, it's yeah, unfortunate. Like I know a guy who he was a good mechanic. Like he was a good dude and everything, but he kept failing that damn test, and they were like you either have to get out or choose a different
I
rate.
don't know.
And so I think
I don't feel like it should be a thing.
yeah, they definitely need to do something else with that. But he's like an IT guy now. That's what he's doing. So
Yeah, it sometimes it doesn't work out, and I'm really grateful that it worked out for me because I already made the decision. Whenever I failed that test, I actually said I wasn't going to go in the army anymore because I was like, if I'm not doing this job, then I'm not doing it at all because
right,
I'm not going to go commit to 4 years to just hate my life. So
yeah,
uh, it's funny. I almost lost my job again because I was in MEPS and I was in one of the rooms. There's some rooms where you can't have your cell phone out, and we were waiting there for like a couple hours for people to show up. And the lady that was in charge of that area, everybody was on their phones, and it just so happened that everybody put their phone away, or they just weren't on their phones at the time. And I was the only one. I think there was actually a couple other people, but she just noticed me on my phone,
you got
and she was
singled
like,
out. Yeah,
yeah, I got singled out, and she's like, no, you know what? You weren't supposed to be on your phone in here. I'm gonna fucking cancel everything you've done. I'm gonna go to your recruiter. Like she tried to like actually like not let me like continue. She tried to completely halt my progress until my Austin recruiter guy was like, hey, relax. Like it's not
yeah.
that big of a deal.
I feel like there's so many people, man. They take shit out on you because they hate their job.
I
Is that
know, like the MEPS
who?
people are just really bad about it.
I mean, who grows up and is like, yeah, I want to go work at MEPS. I want to be the person who like makes sure that people
Nobody,
can
I
join the
hope.
military. Yeah, no,
It
that
pays
seems
well.
like
It's a government job. I'm sure it pays well at least.
I don't know. To me, government is like, you'll get paid all right. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never, like
It's
the Coast Guard
consistent.
didn't get bonuses. That's for sure. Like the only things that were getting bonuses were the really shitty jobs, like being a cook or talking on radios
Yeah.
all day.
I didn't get any bonus either. Because our MOS is just so low. Everybody wants to be in this MOS, so they're like,
Yeah,
we're not giving you a bonus. It's also a 6 year commitment. Like no shot of being anything lower. So
yeah. And I mean, the Coast Guard when they offer bonuses, it's usually like, oh, here's like 5 grand for another 3 years or something. It's like 5 grand for 3 years is nothing.
I
Like
know, and
ugh.
some people will fall for it though, because then they think like, oh,
I
it's
yeah.
awesome.
I know a guy who was like, he was one of those guys who talked on the radios, and he was like, yeah, I got this $10,000 bonus, went and bought a charger. It's like, bro, and he had a kid
There
on
it
the way
goes.
too. So I'm like,
There it
bro,
goes. Well, that's why I went ahead and got a family vehicle because I definitely plan on having kids in the near future. I still feel like I'm too young for it, but
yeah,
I'm gonna we're gonna try to have kids probably towards when I have 2 years, 2 to 1, because we want to keep the insurance we have right now, and then it's a lot cheaper to have a kid while you're in the military, just
yeah,
because they're gonna pay for it a lot more than they would on the
yeah,
outside. So we're gonna take advantage of that for sure. But I'm already preparing for it because I got a family Subaru, so we're gonna just keep
yeah. There
that
you
car
go.
probably moving forward, and we'll see how that goes. Erin has wanted a kid for a while. She always is like on baby TikTok, and it's like, look at this baby, I want it so bad. And I'm like, you don't right now, no. Like it looks good in these little videos you see, but it's gonna require a lot of work, and she'll have to leave her job and all
Yeah.
that. So financially for us right now, it just doesn't work.
Yeah, every time my girlfriend sees a baby, she's like, "I want one." I'm like, it's
Yeah,
that damn. It's like that damn survival mechanism. Like women, they see babies and they just want to procreate. Well, if we ever play any similar games, then we'll definitely have to play something.
yeah, man. Maybe I'll have to hop on Warzone and carry you or something
Oh,
sometime.
okay. Sounds good, man. But yeah, I hope
Yeah,
your internet gets better so you can stream and everything.
yeah.
So
I'm gonna try.
yeah, but I appreciate you being on. Thanks for talking. Good conversation.
Yeah, of course, man. It was fun. I really appreciate it, and keep it going, man. I love seeing your stuff do well on TikTok. You've been killing it, and I hope that success continues to find you.
Thanks, man. I hope everything goes well with your combat camera stuff too and everything.
Yeah, man.
Hope you're not too miserable.
Uh, I mean, every day changes. We'll see. We're coming back to work soon, so hoping for the best.
All right, man. Well, good luck with I know COVID and everything's crazy too, so hope nobody
Yeah,
gets
man.
sick
Yeah.
and
Well,
nothing.
take it
But
easy. Uh, talk to you again soon.
yeah, man. Take care. Peace.